as well. So she's first up today. 2 wins from 3 starts first up. As I mentioned, it's one of the big ones of today. The Group 2 Missile Stakes.
Best-backed runner. They are really keen here. They're absolutely piling on. So Big Parade was our favourite this morning. I Am Me heads them 250. She was 320 this morning. They've flipped now. Big Parade, who...
Firm favourite. Racing now. There's a great line out. Big Parade jumped well. So did I Am Me going underneath it. And Fender being sent forward wide out. Golden Mile in a handy spot from Agenia. We Will Rock cast very deep in the early part. Several lengths further back then to Rocketing By, pushing through on the rails from D. Poor Dragonstone's out deep. Ingratiating's been taken right back to last. The favourite I Am Me held out Big Parade for the leader. Fender cast 3 wide in third. Golden Mile gets a great spot fourth the rails. Then came Agenia. We Will Rock 3 wide with cover. Further back to Rocketing By than D. Poor Dragonstone on a 3 wide path. Ingratiating, hugging the fence last of all. 500 metres to run in the Missile Stakes. I Am Me just in front from Big Parade. Fender still out 3 wide, then Golden Mile. Further back to Agenia. We Will Rock and Rocketing By. 300 to go. Oh, there's a scrimmage there. Big Parade's run out, run in and flattened half the field. I Am Me gets 3 lengths in front. Dragonstone's the margin abbreviator wide out. I Am Me 2 lengths clear from Dragonstone. I Am Me in front from Dragonstone. Deepore to third, and I Am Me beats Dragonstone in the Missile. Deepore third, then Agenia, followed by We Will Rock. Ingratiating, Rocketing By Fender. Golden Mile got wiped. Fender. Golden Mile got wiped out. Big Parade ran in very sharply. Poor Big Parade, he's broken down. He broke down, and rider Josh Parzo.
That was horrible, and nearly a horrible fall there. We'll dissect that action. We'll concentrate first on the winner, and the Mar Eustace team have presented I Am Me, the mare by I Am Invincible, who they have done an extraordinary job to bring her record to 7 wins from 13. And Timmy Clark knew. We wait to see what's happened.
Big Parade has definitely broken down, and that's just so tragic for Connections, but good to see that Josh Parr is okay, and to see James.
Majority of money is there, but not by much. 'Tis Invincible favourite, a drifting favourite, and enough money to say that's about the right price, but I reckon others will continue to firm. They include Roussillon and Griff. So you can see the opening prices for those two. 50
to go. Ready in the Rosebud. Fair Drift the favourite, drawn the fence. 'Tis Invincible. Racing. 'Tis Invincible was last out of the gates. The Instructor was first out from Introducing Infatuation, and 'Tis Invincible slides through on the fence, going to a clear fourth. In advance of Roussillon, Griff drifting back from Fire Lane, and Cigar Flick sees them all. Introducing being tested a bit by the Instructor. Introducing's not handing up the lead and travelling strongly up front. Introducing now a half to 3/4 on the Instructor. Right behind Infatuation's firing up rather noticeably on the outside of 'Tis Invincible. Then came Roussillon from Fire Lane. Griff and Cigar Flick's gone down to the rails last. So Introducing turns in front from the Instructor, followed then by 'Tis Invincible trying to push out. Oh, Infatuation tried to keep her in a pocket. The pair brushed. Introducing just in front from the Instructor. 'Tis Invincible into the clear now and giving chase to the leaders. It's the Instructor. Introducing and 'Tis Invincible chiming in. 2 lengths away to Cigar Flick late. 'Tis Invincible wide out to the Instructor. 'Tis Invincible just in front, and 'Tis Invincible won the Rosebud from a game. Introducing he showed plenty of fight. I think the Instructor third just in front of Cigar Flick. Then came Infatuation from Fire Lane, Roussillon and Griff.
McDonald gets a double. Mar Eustace have 3 winners throughout the day across Australia, and 'Tis Invincible was superb there. A maiden no longer. She wins a stakes race. James McDonald drew an inside barrier and just bullocked her way out.
Market, and the favourite is See You in Heaven. It's the favourite here at $2.50 with Sportsbet. Sabatoo XL at $5. Picargo at $7. And then we've got Caracas.
Normally the Spring Stakes. Behemoth won this race on 2 occasions before heading to Melbourne, where he won the Memsey and the Sir Rupert Clark. And then 12 ready. Oh, hang on. Light off again. Light is on. Racing. See You in Heaven jumped away well. Ironclad How, both very slow, and Savatu Excel away fast with Picargo. Savatu Excel heads them up, leads Picargo. See You in Heaven across to third. Calypso Rain fourth. Bugnish is fifth, and then Manhattan Times. Extreme Thrill, Hop on Harry, Howl, and two back last of all to Ironclad. Speed sedate for this quality of horse. 800 metres out, Savatu Excel doing it as he likes. He leads a length on Picargo. See You in Heaven is almost three deep, striding at them now with 600 metres to run. Calypso Rain, Manhattan Times gets onto the favourites back, and then Bugnish, followed by Extreme Thrill, Hop on Harry, Howl, and Ironclad's back last. He's 7 from the speed. 400 metres to run in the Behemoth Stakes, and it's Savatu Excel turning for home. A half to three quarters on See You in Heaven. Picargo, Calypso Rain, Manhattan Times, then Bugnish further back to Howl. See You in Heaven ranged up, hit the lead now from Savatu Excel. Chasing hard, Manhattan Times, Calypso Rain. See You in Heaven in front. She's got a length on Savatu Excel and Manhattan Times. See You in Heaven is back with a bang. See You in Heaven wins the Behemoth Stakes a length to Savatu Excel. Manhattan Times is third. Calypso Rain is fourth. Then Howl, Bugnish, Extreme Thrill, Hop on Harry, Ironclad, and Picargo, the late scratching Carricazoo at the gates.
Going fighting Sheriff for the final.
About Colino. The punters think that he can get the job done. They've got their faith in Jamie Carr to ride her first winner back from a long time off the scene there after injury. So into 290 after going up 380. Buenos Noches also easing 460 out to that $6 quote. Did go up.
And they're racing. Colino jumped quite well towards the outside. Jetty was nicely into stride. Dragonstone's handy together with Fender going forward. You called it out deep from Rocketing By. Buenos Noches will settle third last in front of Extremely Lucky, and the stayer Skylab's last. Jamie Carr goes forward on Colino. Reluctantly though, with Argentia moving up the outside and Dragonstone's going up the inside, and Dragonstone pokes the nose in front from Colino. Argentia back to third in advance of Fender, then Rocketing By, you called it. Further back to Buenos Noches from Extremely Lucky, and 3 lengths away to Skylab. So Dragonstone is the leader in a race with no speed. Dragonstone just from Colino. Argentia wider out, followed by Fender, Rocketing By the fence, then you called it. Now Buenos Noches slightly held up, angling into the clear now, Buenos Noches. 3 further back to Extremely Lucky. Dragonstone just the leader from Colino, Argentia, and Buenos Noches starting to lengthen well on the outside. And quickly, Buenos Noches moved up, took the lead away from Dragonstone and Argentia. Running out a bit, Buenos Noches, but he's looking for that Everest spot, and that's a big help today. Buenos Noches beat Argentia, Dragonstone. Skylab thundering home at the end, followed then by Colino. Extremely Lucky warming up when it was all over. From you called it Fender and Rocketing By.
Well, he was the class horse in the field, and although he's not a Group 3...
Well, the head-on will be really interesting because he certainly...
out, tries to find the split, finds the gap, goes forward. But you're right, he wants to lay out towards the fence quite significantly. And is there interference? Well, there you go. There is a swarm of horses in Argentia. Well, she probably is impeded.
In the Warwick Stakes.
First run in 1923 as the Warwick Stakes, the race was renamed the Wink Stakes in 2018 in honour of the mighty mare who fittingly made it a hat-trick of wins the same year the race received Group 1 status.
There's 26 in a row for the champ. Wins the race named in her honour.
Formerly...
As we count down to our first Group 1 of the new season, honouring an absolute giant of the turf in Winks. You can see her.
Oh my Lord. And what about the Group 1 stars in the Wink Stakes? Can you remember a race like this? So we had 19 acceptors, 3 scratchings, we've got 16 runners, and there's only 4.
But the punters aren't keen to go outside of the 2 top in the market. That is, of course, Zaki, who's been solid right there at the top of the market at 420. Was 420 this morning, actually got as short as 390, so he's easing by the slightest of margins. There's been good late support, particularly with that track upgrade for Fangirl. $6 into $5.50. And a move for Zaki's stablemate Mo'unga here at odds now, guys. 14 into $10. Think It Over has gone 10 to 12. Golden Mile solid at that $12 quote. 13 in from 15 for Lindemann, 10 out to 14 for King Colorado. Hinged has gone 16 into 15, and then it's $18 or more the rest. So the punters are a little bit nervous to look outside of our 2 top.
And by for a break in the Wink Stakes. Gates are back. They're off and racing. Lindemann again very sharply from the wide draw. In fact, he landed a length in front out of the gates, and Bowman's going to guide him to the front. Straight into second position, the favourite Zaki and Major Beale up to third, followed by Golden Mile, handy on the inside of Hinge. Think it over. Camp right behind the leading division in the early part. Further back then to Princess Grace as they find the positions from King Colorado. Navajo Peak Fangirl is back in the second half of the field. They're followed then by Francesco Guardi on the inside of Osipenko. Back last of all, Montefilia, and well back in the field there at this point is Duis. Down the side, Lindemann in front from Zaki and Major Beale. Golden Mail rails into fourth on the inside of Hinge. Think It Over goes forward on the outside of Princess Grace. Then came Communist off the track from King Colorado. Fangirl cluttered up a bit. Francesco Guardi from Duis, Osipenko, and Mwunga is back third last as they straighten up now. And Lindemann after the fast start leads the way. The favourite breathing down his neck now, Zaki, and quickly Zaki went up to take the lead from Think It Over. The inside, Princess Grace. Fangirl on the outside running on. Princess Grace the inside from Zaki, and now Fangirl is starting to lengthen. Fangirl wide out. Princess Grace the inside. Princess Grace and Fangirl. Fangirl won the Wink Stakes. Fangirl right on the wire. Beat the American mare Princess Grace and Zaki third. Then Hinge Dan Duis close up. Further back to Osipenko, rattling home with Montefilia. King Colorado, Francesco Guardi, Think It Over. Navajo Peak from Communist, Lindemann, Major Beale, Golden Mile and Mwunga.
No Animo today.
Right.
And James McDonald not sure that he's won it because he had Princess Grace on the rail who was super close. But the picture tells us that Fangirl gets her second Group 1, but most importantly, Chris Waller gets 150.
And he does it with owners who have been with him right from the start. Deb Capitas's father saw Chris Waller interviewed and said he seems to be a really nice young man. I'm going to send a lot of horses to him. A young man who has delivered and trained.
That was a super race. Think It Over has returned in great fashion. Zaki, as you said, ran a really strong race. And watch Duis in the middle with the orange cap as well. I reckon she's in for a massive preparation. Also, King Colorado, he has finished midfield. There are so many you want to follow out of that. But all honours with Fangirl today. James McDonald, a big smile on his face, yet to get on the board, but he's backed is actually Komochi, who's not on the second line of betting. She's on the third line of betting, but Estriella backed off the map there at 380. Christilli, who can be a little bit tricky, but she looked like she was behaving herself in the yard, 5 into 480. Then Komochi, as I mentioned, is our second best backed runner here, and she's gone 9 into 601, 61 this morning, now into 30.
For the Darley Silver Shadow Stakes. And the gates are back there, off and racing. There's a great line out. Estriella's jumped fast together with Taumina, who shows great speed. Taumina to hold out Estriella. Autumn Ballet straight there in third. Christilli's cast a little bit deep, followed by Mumbai Muse pushing through on the inside of Platinum Jubilee. Back in the field is Komochi. Zardozi out very deep from French Endeavour, Private Legacy. Lazago gets well back from Amazonian Lass, and Summer Loving is the last one. Taumina holds the front, approaching the bend from the favourite Estriella. They're 2 in front of Autumn Ballet. Mumbai Muse fourth on the rails, followed by Platinum Jubilee inside Christilli as they come up to the turn now. 500 metres to go, and Taumina and Estriella stride for stride. Mumbai Muse keeps improving on the inside. Autumn Ballet's peeling deeper out. Further back to Private Legacy running on. Platinum Jubilee into the clear. Then came French Endeavour, and 3 further back to Komochi. Estriella leads here at the 250. Mumbai Muse the inside running on. Autumn Ballet. Komochi's thundering home. Estriella in front from Autumn Ballet. Komochi wide out. Estriella and Autumn Ballet. Komochi late. They head at Autumn Ballet. Got the bob. Autumn Ballet nosed out either Estriella or the fast finishing Komochi. Followed then by Amazonian Lass late from Mumbai Muse. Summer Loving hitting the line well wide out. Then came Private Legacy. Christilli's run last.
We think Autumn Ballet has got the chockies here. The Group 3 Hieronymus, the Hippo, who's only returned back to racing in the last couple of months after serving a very lengthy suspension. So for him to win a Group 2 on the first big day of the new year would be a big story. And I do think Autumn Ballet has won the Silver Shadow today, the Connections of the Waterhouse. Congratulations to the Waterhouse Boatyard and to Adam Hieronymus on a big win for him.
Oh, it's a huge win, isn't it? We've got a photo for second and third with Jamie Carhouse and Adrian Bott. Gaze had Swift Witness, Speak Fondly, Ha Ha, just some of her winners to win the Silver Shadow in the past. Hope all's okay with Christilli. Ends up drifting way out of the race and ends up tailed off last. Hopefully she is okay.
And let's look forward to some Group 3 racing now. Race 7, this is the first leg of the quaddy. Folks, I hope you're playing along at home because you'll be winning if you have been watching racing.com all day. Skirt the Law, this is a good go on race day. Ryan Maloney's here to play with Tony Goal on the Magic Millions winner. Overtakes Charmstone. As a matter of fact, the Sharps are...
Innovation Girl. Need I say more? This is typically a cracking race for the 3-year-old fillies as they set their turrets towards.
I've gone with Charmstone on top. She's got a bit of a physical upside over her rivals. I think she's...
Taking on Charmstone are punters, and I can tell you now that She's All Shenanigan and Ulanova have been heavily supported. So
yes, at Group 3. A terrific renewal. Set goes crashing away. Princess Dew Hello away fairly. Tis Enough broke well with Sicilian on the outside. Princess Dew Hello, She's All Shenanigans and Ulanova behind those horses. Two further back is Show Royale, and then came Skirt the Law. Well back in the field is Charmstone. Back to third last is Zuku, and a couple of lengths to Sonic Boom. Tis Enough is the leader as they reach the 700 metres. Tried to get a breather from Princess Dew Hello. Sicilian 3 wide. Ulanova behind those horses. Then She's All Shenanigans. Jockey rowing along there, and then came Show Royale, Skirt the Law, Charmstone, Zuzu, and also to Sonic Boom. They come up to the corner at the 400 metres. It's Tis Enough in front of Sicilian, Princess Dew Hello. Then came Ulanova behind those horses. She's All Shenanigans. Skirt the Law sticks to the inside, and Charmstone being brought up the middle and is coming on. It's Tis Enough joined by Sicilian at the 200. Ulanova the inside. Charmstone and Skirt the Law is starting to get through between fillies at the 100. Charmstone just in front. Skirt the Law won't get her. Charmstone's won it by a neck. Skirt the Law. Sicilian third from Tis Enough to Sonic Boom. Then She's All Shenanigans. Next to finish in the race was Ulanova, Zuzuko, then Show Royale, and a long last Princess Dew Hello.
Mick Price has had a tremendous affinity with this race over time. He knows exactly what it takes. He joins Peter Moody as a 4-time winner of the Quisette, and he's had some handy ones go through this race previously. Belmur perhaps at the top of that tree. They've always had a really high sitting on with the Magic Millions 2-year-old winner, and she made a real race of the Quisette. There's a space to the rest of them. Sicilian, the best of those, hanging on. But
early treble here. Let's have a look at the vein now, where the Colts and Gelding, small field cylinder. It's all about Godolphin here. He was terrific running second in a golden slipper. We know all of that. What we want to know is what the market suggests.
In stakes, and we get the rematch of two horses that met in a Merson Cooper hutch and then went on to win a Blue Diamond and run second in a Golden Slipper, if you don't mind.
Yeah. He was nice and tight in terms of his overall condition. He goes on top. Absolutely.
Stakes for the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. So outside of that, Little Bros, he's very quiet in the market, soft late as he creeps out to $7.
They're ready, and away they go. And Cracker Rib on the inside, away okay. Ouroboros beat them out from Cylinder, who's dug up early. Little Bros and Cracker Rib. Behind them, VC, and then came She Light and I Am Unstoppable at the end of the field. Ouroboros is going to lead the Vane Stakes at the 800 metres by 3/4 of a length to Cylinder. 2 lengths, Little Bros and Cracker Rib, followed by VC, She Light, and last, I Am Unstoppable. They're off the rails here, so Ouroboros is the leader. Just snuck a length and a quarter, Cylinder, and Cracker Rib darts up to be nice and close behind the leader's back. A length and a half, Little Bros, and then came VC, She Light, I Am Unstoppable. Up to the turn, Ouroboros at the 400 metres, spearheads the field, led by a length and a quarter, Cracker Rib, who cuts the corner. Cylinder's nice and close, then Little Bros to the middle, and I Am Unstoppable trying to sool into the race. Ouroboros at the 250. Cylinder's about to amble up on the outside. I Am Unstoppable late with She Light. Still Ouroboros. Cylinder not there yet. Digs in at the 50. Ouroboros. Cylinder's diving. Head bobber. Photo finish. Ouroboros or Cylinder. Then I Am Unstoppable, She Light, Little Bros, a gap, Cracker Rib, and VC. And we're going to have to wait for the judge. Ouroboros was so brave. Cylinder putting in a lunge. Oh, this is really close. Head's completely out of sync here. Ouroboros, Craig Newitt, or Cylinder, Blake Shin. Will the low angle tell us anything? Oh, this is so close. So close to a dead heat. A photo to the Vane Stakes. A couple more strides, and I am very, very close indeed. Ouroboros getting its head down, but then so close here. The judge having a look at the photo. Of course, the photo finish nowadays can be zoomed in on, zoomed out, and they can look at it many different ways. This is desperate. I can tell you it's so close to a dead heat, it's not funny. Can the judge find a margin? It's a photo finish here between the on favourite Cylinder, and Cylinder's got up. Cylinder has won by such a small margin. It is a split inch in it. But Blake Shin with the treble, trained by James Cummings for Godolphin.
Between Cylinder and Ouroboros, it's 2, 6 and 4 in the Vane. I Am Unstoppable was certainly formerly known as the Liston. It's been rebadged as the PB Lawrence Stakes in recent years to honour a man who gave the Melbourne Racing Club great service on the committee for many years. The Key Clean PB Lawrence Stakes, 1400 metre Group 2 weight for age contest, the 75th edition, is Mr. Brightside looks to defend his title and possibly emulate the feats of a Cox Plate winner in Torto, who went back-to-back in this race when it was the Liston in 1971, and back in this race when it was the Liston in 1971 and 72. Since his win in the PB Lawrence last year, he's, of course, added a second Doncaster and an All-Star Mile.
Oh, Tasta talent.
Pointer to what's to come in the spring, Mr. Brightside. Your call to go back-to-back and be the first horse to do it for 50 years, Hutch.
Yeah, we'll have a good...
The yard that I think have just got the best temperaments. They're Mr. Brightside and Attrition. I've gone with Attrition on top. I like the way he's returned.
On stage, Mr. Brightside is now 225. Nice little spread of money outside of the short favourite at 225, Mr. Brightside. And he's clearly dominating the turnover. Over 70% of the turnover is with the favourite. But Tuvalu now trim.
Ready to run. And they're racing. Chassis towards the inside, broke the line with also Buffalo River. Not too far away early, Western Empire. There's Edison from the deep. Mr. Brightside wants to be close. And then came Pounding. Next in the field is Pinstriped. Attrition around those with on the inside Regal Power. A length and a half, Uncle Bryn, Tuvalu. And then came El Bodegon. Towards the end, Agon and Forgot You. So it's on the outside, Western Empire, pouring it on outside of Buffalo River. A length and a half away to Edison third. Chassis fourth, the inner. And dropping in one off the fence in fifth place, Mr. Brightside getting a lovely run. A length and a half, Attrition, 3 deep around Pinstriped, and on the inside Regal Power, who's niggled at the 700. A length and a half, Pounding, Uncle Bryn, Tuvalu a long way back, El Bodegon, Agon and Forgot You. 500 to go. Buffalo River sooled up the speed as it loves to do. 3/4 of a length, Western Empire, 2 lengths to Edison. Mr. Brightside's creeping forward, tracked by Pinstriped, Attrition wide. Then came Chassis under pressure from Pounding, and well back in the field then is Tuvalu. So it's Western Empire and Buffalo River with Mr. Brightside closing in. 250 to go. Mr. Brightside ambles up and race clear. Then Pinstripe, Pounding and Attrition behind them. But Mr. Brightside, 100 metres to go. Will go back to back. Too good. Supremely good. Won it by 2 lengths. Second, Pinstripe from Agon, and then Attrition and Tuvalu running through the line. Behind them, Pounding. Forgot You's run a race. A long gap, Uncle Bryn, Buffalo River. Then came Western Empire, Regal Power, Chassis, El Bodegon, and last was Edison.
They're in full voice on the Caulfield lawn, belting out the Killers Classic, and well might they. 12 from 24 in his career now, most of them on Australian soil for this unfashionable son of bull bars. If you look at the pedigree, that's the case, but it's what he does out there that matters, and he is so good. 2 PB Lawrences. Think about this. We haven't had a horse do this for over half a century, and the horse that did do it, Torto, won a time here as well. 1:21.71 for the PB Lawrence on a good 4. That is good going, but it was there for all to see given the edge of that race. So put that in context. Class record 121.9. That's broken. That was held by Streets of Avalon. That is in February of 2020. And Exceed and Excel's track record, which was set in winning a Rupert Clark all the way back in 2003, also on a good 3, 121.2. They've run Good Time and the winner. Good Time and the winner. He is something special. 2 Doncasters, 2 PB Lawrences in behind. Pinstripe.
A lot fitter for the run, but it's all about Brightside. Mr. Brightside, what a performance from this horse. Nigel, just another remarkable win.
Well, we'll see how he pulls up first, but Memsey will probably be his next assignment, and then maybe a Makybe Diva, and then from there we'll just make a decision, but Sydney looks quite tempting.
Favourite, as did our traders, but Caballas with a late surge again. He's been popular all week and they're coming for him late once more. He paraded in beautiful order. He's now into 360 over Le Vampire, who's 370 solid. Went up 460. Griff is Cass also at that $12 quote, and then $16 or more for Kintyre heading them. But Caballas, they thought...
3 rolls are ready for the up-and-coming stakes. Racing, last out of the gates was Cafe Millennium, and Les Vampires jumped very sharply. Griff's handled the start well. Griff's up running second early. They're followed by Mamma will have to take a sit, and the favourite Caballas goes to 4th as the field starts to string out a bit in the early stages at the 1,000. Ducasse over on the inside of Kintyre, 2.5 away to Tom Kidden. Encap's gone down to the rails inside Tutar Levita, then Hasty Honey and Cafe Millennium's last. Les Vampires shows the way, 3/4 to Griff, followed then by Kementari's only son, Manware, who travels 3rd on the inside of the favourite Caballas. 2 lengths away to Ducasse, then came Kintyre. Further back to Tom Kidden on the inside of Tutar Levita. Encap Racing held up 3rd last as they come around the turn. Les Vampires still under a grip, shows the way. Griff under plenty of pressure 2nd. Caballas, no excuses, in the 3rd position with Clean Air, followed by Kintyre. Further back to Manware and Tom Kidden coming to the outside. Griff showing plenty of fight, laying it down to Les Vampires. Kintyre running on. Caballas one paced and Tom Kidden starting to lengthen. Kintyre in the middle of the track. Kintyre racer to the lead. Tom's on the scene. Tom Kidden and Kintyre, and Tom got the bob and beat Kintyre. Encap charging home at a 3rd. Then Ducasse and Griff from Les Vampires. Tutar Levita was next. Then came Hasty Honey from Manware. Caballas very disappointing, and Cafe Millennium was always back last.
Yeah, the favourite was disappointing. Let's concentrate on the winner. He was a listed winner as a 2-year-old when he won the Fernhill over the mile when ridden by Nash Rawilla. Nash says, when he comes back, I want to jump back on board, and Tom Kitten was huge there first up. Bring on, you would imagine 2,000-metre races like the Spring Champion Stakes would be absolutely perfect for him. He's a son of Harry Angel out of Transfers. That was 1,300 metres today. He'll be Golden Eagle. He'll have a crack, you can imagine, at a Caulfield Guineas. So much upside to him. Kintyre and Oncap runs 2nd and 3rd. Gary Portelli runs 2nd.
Wrapped with this performance because they made it very clear that this was just a starting point. They didn't expect him to sort of finish winning this race. So to have done that at the 1,300 metres, it just bodes so well for what's to come later in the campaign. He's a big horse. He's really looks like he's going to appreciate getting up over ground. He gave the strappers a hard time in the parade ring. He's just full of running, and I love the way he back and really gave it a
stand out there. He's absolutely glowing. Nash just keeping him really nice and quiet. He's a real professional, and he's the one the punters like. So he's our 360 favourite in from 440. In saying that, there's very little splitting the hold here between him and Kandinsky Abstract. So they're almost equally backed here, albeit Kandinsky is at $5 in from $5.50. The instructor has gone $4.80 way out to $7.50 to sit with introduced rest of them.
And we're just about ready to run. Racing now. Corniche actually was the last out of the gates, and Kandinsky Abstract being taken back. The Obstructor jumped fast together with Fire Star right there, and Introducing's trying to go with the pair and kicking through a half length away, followed by Butch Cassidy and Libertad getting across from the wide gate. Field starts to string out. Then came Moravia from General Salute. Now Corniche is back 3rd last on the outside of Untouchable Legend, and Kandinsky Abstract sees them all. Fire Star held out the Instructor for the lead. introducing third. Libertad fourth, one out, one back. Then Butch Cassidy, three back the inside of Moravia. Further back, General Salute pushing wide from Corniche. Kandinsky Abstract very deep. And Untouchable Legends last. Firestar and introducing. They've locked horns at the 300 metres. Libertad is chiming in. Introducing Needs Room. Then came Moravia, Butch Cassidy. Further back, General Salute pushing out. Got underneath Corniche. Libertad got to the front. Moravia's on the scene. Libertad in front from Moravia. Butch Cassidy late, but it's Libertad in the San Domenico. Libertad beat Moravia and the fast finishing Butch Cassidy. Then General Salute with a checkered passage. Further back to the instructor, introducing Corniche, Kandinsky Abstract, Untouchable Legend and Firestar.
Well, some bubbles have been burst there, but it's the colt by Russian Revolution who's able to win. Not at the big price tag of some of the others, though expensive at $210,000 at the Ready to Race sale. Doesn't look expensive now. He's 3 from 3 and wins a Group 3 race, the San Domenico Stakes. For Chad Schofield, really important win for Chad. Annabelle Neesham is the trainer, defeats Moravia, 3 ahead of 11. Gee, a couple of eye catches.
The splits that like Libertad did.
Well, it's hard to do that on a good 4 track at Rosehill to settle last and try to storm over the top. You've got to run unbelievable sectionals to be able to do that.
We'll probably have
a look at them, right, Em, and we'll look at them.
Jump time. Autumn Ballet, they expect to start favourite. She is at the moment there at 390, in from 440. Kimochi, who's been our second best backed runner, has gone 380, just out to 420, so our traders are letting you on there. Tis Invincible, our best backed runner in the race, 4 out to 460. So again, very little space.
Ready. And the fillies are off and racing now. Autumn Ballet wasn't great out. She's almost last. Fire Lane jumped well. Cigar Flick was well into stride, and Platinum Jubilee ridden with the intent of leading. Mumbai Muse very handy from Tis Invincible. Kimochi out deep. Summer Loving out deep. Autumn Ballet on the improve from Hell Queen firing up. Amazonian Last Lazargo. Last of all is Private Legacy. Soft lead for Platinum Jubilee, and Cigar Flick right up on the pace second. Clear from Fire Lane, Mumbai Muse, and wider out Tis Invincible. Further back to Autumn Ballet, railing through from Kimochi. Summer Loving out deep. Further back to Hell Queen, Amazonian Last, Lazargo and Private Legacies back at the rear of the field. Around the corner and Platinum Jubilee in the hands of Josh Parr. Comes up the rise from Cigar Flick, and Fire Lane coming into it nicely on the outside, followed by Tis Invincible, revved up from Summer Loving. Further back to Mumbai Muse. Kimochi's got a lot of chasing to do. Inside the 200, Cigar Flick races to a narrow lead from Tis Invincible. Mumbai Muse coming through the middle. Tis Invincible heading top gear now, and Tis Invincible draws clear for a big one in the Furious Stakes. Kimochi wound up, doing her best work at the end into second. Mumbai Muse third, then Summer Loving. Further back to Cigar Flick, Platinum Jubilee, Autumn Ballet closing off at the end. A gap back to Amazonian Last from.
Well, she beat the boys last start, and she come back to fillies grade today in the Furious and gets the job done again. This filly by I Am Invincible Lizzie. She is regally bred, trained by the dynamic muscle, just winding up, and it was a very patient ride. It was a ride of a rider who doesn't look like he's an apprentice. I've got to say, it was masterful, and we don't like seeing James not.
Muse, Summer Loving continues to catch the eye. Finishing off its races really stylishly. Big win.
Yeah, it was a big win, and especially for Zach Lloyd to pick her up quite late and not know the filly. I think he did a really good job in such a high stakes race. He's done a
Strip in full flight here in the Tab Concord, and at his third tilt of the race, he's a big winner today. Eduardo's well clear from Athelry at the succulent odds of $2.80. Goes on to win the Concord Stakes.
Well, they're meeting for the 13th time, and there he is, the champ, Nature Strip. We haven't seen him third in 2020, Nature Strip first, and Eduardo 11th. So it's an interesting race, but it's the
up a little bit too short, so they've just pushed him out to the price where they think he sits. That was $2.80 actually. That was moments ago. He's now back into $2.60, so that's meant the punters have jumped on. Second elect is In Secret. She's gone out to $3.70 to $4.40. There's been a huge push here for Remark, as Em mentioned, 6 into $4.40. That's a decent go. Bella Nipotina as well has been fancied.
They're ready to go. They're off and racing, and Eduardo began sharply off the inside. Eduardo's going to lead. Nature Strip about third out. Remark goes to second. Nature Strip stays wide, and Shelby 66 is pushing through to make a bit of a spectacle of himself, and he's having a crack for the lead, Shelby. Parking in behind them is In Secret on the outside of Casino Lord. Bella Nipotina on the rails, and a couple after rocketing by. Shelby took hold. Remark went forward, and Remark stays off the fence. Leads narrowly from Eduardo. Then Shelby 66 and Nature Strip running his own race out wide, and a length and a half away to In Secret, a little bit cluttered up. Very wide out Remark, even wider as Nature Strip. Back on the inside Eduardo, and now the mare In Secret's got a mile of room to go through. So's Bella Nipotina picking up. It's Remark in front of Eduardo. Here's Bella Nipotina running on with In Secret. Remark in front, going well. Remark clings on and wins the Concord, beat In Secret and Bella Nipotina. Then came Eduardo rocketing by. Nature Strip, Casino Lord, and Shelby 66 was last.
Credit where credit's due for Remark, and also Richo selecting him, and all the punters who clamoured for him as well. So Team Hawks with a massive win with Remark. In terms of our favourite, Nature Strip, Lizzie, that is going to be a talking point going forward. He stepped slowly. He found him.
Of that epic race. We were looking for horses that were going to be the newly crowned sprinters, and I think you're looking at the three of them there. Remark has stepped up. You can see In Secret has We've got a really exciting time on our hands. It's now time for the younger guns. I think we're seeing a changing of the guard.
So In Secret comes in for...
Yeah, he does, and it is a sad day to see him to go out like that. But as Chris Waller said, a happy, healthy horse, and he really did look so healthy in the yard. And he's going to live the best life ever now as a champion. Whatever he does, if he's a show jumper or a show over Royal Ascot, was certainly a highlight of mine. And what a horse he's been, Richard.
And a highlight for your husband James, who had the great thrill of riding him over at Royal Ascot, and the English and the world.
Retirement on behalf of the owners, announcing his retirement on behalf of the owners, Mr. Lyons. He's just been an amazing horse, and everything he's done, he's just done to the best of his ability. Even today, he's prepared well. He came to the race, but he wasn't the same horse in the race today. Yes, he jumped well, he travelled nicely, looked to come up the rise well, but that same acceleration or spark wasn't there. So it's a Group 1 wins, the Everest, the King's Stand, 3 TJs, Darley Sprints, just to name a few. It's been an amazing journey, and can't thank you enough.
Such a long tenure. To think that his final run in the Concord yesterday came at 9 and he was still getting the business done well and truly. He's a 7 and 8 year old. He's taken us on one hell of a ride. For me, the King's Stand is the pinnacle of what he achieved in his career, because it was to achieve.
It was a truly world-class performance, and he deserved something like that to show just how good he was, because not produced world-class performances, preparation in, preparation out, and I think he's been our best sprinter post Black Caviar. So he was a champion and had a phenomenal.
Of course, he had 5 different trainers, didn't he? So he had a different story than most horses, but retires with 20.7 million in the bank. It's quite phenomenal. 44 starts, 22 wins, and he was famous for getting beat first up, wasn't he, a lot of the time?
Oh, the Chelmsford, it is our Group 2 event over the 1,600 metres, and some absolute superstars of the turf.
Best backed runner all day. A massive go here for Montefilia. She has been backed off the map. She went up $8, which was clearly the wrong price. She was $3.70 this morning, now into $3.10, and as I mentioned, very well supported. Think It Over is just starting to get out of touch now, $2.70 out to $3.30. Mwanga has gone $8.50 into 7. Duace, 8 to $8.50. Lindemann, 11 out to 18 out to 21, and then 20.
And the light is on. We're ready for the Group 2 Chelmsford Stakes, and they're off and racing. Montefiore was last out of the gates. Now Lindemann's jumped well together with Knight's Order, and Knight's Order pushes through. Major Beal is coming across the face of the field, going into a clear third. And then there's a queue of them behind. Navajo Peak being sent forward in front of Bold Mac. Then came Mwanga, and Think It Over's cast 3 wide in the early part. Huyamo a bit keen back in the field from Montefiore going up the fence. Then Manzois, and Duisrit and Stone Cold's going to settle last of all. This is a bit of a go up front. Knight's Order and Lindemann. Well, the script was that Lindemann would be ridden with cover, but presses on down the outside of last year's winner, Knight's Order. Going to third is Navajo Peak, and the pace has been fairly strong. They've gapped Major Beale in fourth, followed by Bold Mac. Think it over the outside. Mawunga settles well back in the field now on the outside of Montefilia. They're followed then by Hu Yamal from Manzois, and Duis is back last of all. A strong gallop here. Lindemann shows the way at the 600 metres by a length and a half on Knight's Order. 2 off to Navajo Peak. A gap back to Major Beale. Think it over. Up on the outside of Bold Mac now. Montefilia gets cracking. Moving up into a 3-wide position as they come around the turn. And Lindemann's got plenty of these struggling, turning for home. Lindemann 3 lengths in front. Knight's Order's gone. Navajo Peak giving chase in second spot. Followed then by Major Beale. Think it over. Montefilia. Hu Yamal starting to run on, getting a gap now. It's Lindemann being tackled by Navajo Peak. Navajo Peak the outside of Lindemann. Then came Major Beale. Think it over. Navajo Peak in front from Think it over. Navajo Peak, an upset. Navajo Peak has beaten either Major Beale or Think it over. Then came Hu Yamal from Montefilia. Lindemann gave a sight in the lead from Manzois, then Duis from Bold Mac, Mawunga and Knight's Order.
Absolute blowout in the Chelmsford with Navajo Peak, Chad Schofield doing the steering. But the real story here, Lizzie, for mine, is David Payne. Of course, we just mentioned and referenced the fact that...
Absolutely. 50-1 as well. Congratulations, David Payne. He is one of the master trainers this country has seen. He originates from South Africa. He trained multiple combined. It's fascinating, Chad, obviously originally from South Africa as well, combining with a trainer who he's obviously looked up to in a very long time. But good performance, another upset result though.
Katie, we didn't see that one coming, but he was brave. He was tough. What a good win.
Yeah, he certainly was. You could see there he just fought them off, and to ride the hot speed the way that he did, he was a sitting duck. They were coming at him and he just did not want to lie down at all. Loved the run of Major Beale. I loved him through the line. He's in for a big preparation, and gutsy Think it over. He is just honest as the day's long.
Well, there's a few bubbles that have been burst, so let's call it how we see it there. Major Beale, huge tick. Think it over, pass mark. Hu Yamal's another one that you give a huge big tick to, who's really out with Duis. Where are we at with Montefilia? Where are we at with Mawunga? There's some big decisions to be made with horses who have been so brave and fantastic for their owners and trainers.
Yeah. Backed off the map here. Don't let her price fool you again. She's just got out by the slightest of margins, but they still keep coming for her. She's gone 230, just out to 250 now. So our trader's just letting them on. Pericles second elect, 550 into 440. Good push here for Hope in Your Heart. The rest of them there for Fireburn, the Golden Slipper winner, but it is one way.
On. We're ready to go now. Off here in the tramway, and New Mandates missed the start by several lengths, and Skyman began nicely wide out. Palmetto and Pericles are fast on the scene. Alencia's out there pretty wide as Going Global charges through the pack. Then Fireburn and Zayrek one off the fence. So Alencia's caught 3 wide in the early part. Further back then to Communist in advance of My Oberon, Hope in Your Heart. Democracy Manifest from Sky Lab, New Mandate. And Dimel's going to settle back last of all. Zach Lloyd goes to the front now on Pericles, with Skyman parking up on the outside. Palmetto took leaders back third in advance of Going Global, and the favourite Alencia is next on the outside of Fireburn and Zayrek between runners. Further back to Communist, Hope in Your Heart, My Oberon splitting them. Democracy Manifest moving wider out as they come up to the home turn. They've got 500 metres to run now. And Pericles in front from Skyman. Then Palmetto, Going Global. And Alencia's been wide from the start. She's only a few lengths off the lead as they come up the rise now. Pericles on the inside of Skyman. Alencia starting to wind up, getting past Going Global. Palmetto's gone back to the inside, but showing a good kick. Here is Pericles, kicking hard. Pericles from Skyman, and then came Alencia, Zayrek, but Pericles is going to lead all the way. Beat Skyman. Third between Zayrek and Alencia. Hope in Your Heart through the middle, running on, and then came My Oberon deeper out. Further back to Fireburn, Going Global, Communist, then New Mandate, Democracy Manifest.
This new kid on the block is here to stay and win a Group 1 very shortly. The same, Lizzie, can be said for this young apprentice in the saddle in Zach Lloyd, who is having a red letter day.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't he having a red letter day?
He's take the race by the scruff of the neck, which he did. He rated Pericles beautifully, and what a red letter day for him. Richo. It's a changing of the guard. He's really making his stance that he is going to be one of the main players in the Sydney jockeys room.
Yeah, no doubting that.
Absolutely bolting in. Couldn't help but notice a lot of jockeys wanting to stay away from the fence here at Caulfield, and in particular the winner from the 600-metre mark. Not many have been running on from the inside. Let's have a look at some Group 3 racing now. The McNeil Stakes for the 3-year-olds. Little Bros,
whether it's heading towards the Coolmore like Merchant Navy did, or a Caulfield Guineas like Star Spangled.
Was a little bit toey and keen and just really wanted to get on with the job.
$4.50, $4.60 now, Little Bros. Legacy tightening up to $4.50. It is on with the 3 scratchings and the 22 cents deductions. Barber, one of those runners coming out. It's a small select field of 8, but they've all been specced apart from...
Signal Racing and Little Bros probably beat them out with Coincide. It's inside. Legacy's not far away. Hedged and V8 on the fence. So after 100 metres, Coincide off the rails led from Hedged and V8, and then Legacies. 2 further back is Deadly Press and Little Bros from Make a Call to Zebra, and last of all is She Light onto the course proper. Coincide the front runner, 800 metres to go by 3/4 of a length to Hedged, a length and a quarter. V8 third the fence, and then came the filly. Legacies getting a lovely run, a length and a half. Deadly Press, Little Bros, almost 2 lengths. Make a Call, and then came La Zebra. She Light last, 500 metres to go. Coincide from Hedged about a half length away. 2 further back as Legacy's improving her position, about to peel 3 wide from V8 getting off the fence as well. 2 further back to Little Bros, Deadly Press, and then La Zebra. Coincide, 250 metres to go, led from Hedged, who throws out a serious challenge, and V8 got the split and uses it. V8 accelerated at the 150, a length and a half. Legacy's Hedged, Little Bros, V8 holding on. V8 won the McNeil. 3/4 Legacy's, photo third. Little Bros from Hedged, and She Light was the eye catcher. Behind those horses, La Zebra in company with Coincide, Make a Call, and at the tail of the field, Deadly Press.
We've seen Hooper Got You, Star Spangled Banner and Super Seth come via the McNeil to go and grab a Caulfield Guineas. V8 is pointed towards here in mid-October based on his prominent return here. The VRC's tyres...
Obviously with the run, but lovely ride. Beautiful execution there from Damien Lane. He had the barrier to help him along the way there, Ben.
That's the plan.
Great to see him back. Vroom, vroom.
Thank you.
Vroom, vroom from Nige there. Just threw that in quite nicely, didn't he?
Tony and Calvin McAvoy.
Yeah, so this was an exciting performance for V8, given I thought there had to be queries over how he was going based on his trial, his jump out, and Calvin McAvoy made a terrific point post-race. Let's better over further, and he's going to strip a lot fitter for it. Have a look at She Light out the back. He was detached from the field and rocketed home. 6th fastest last 200 of the day. He's on track for a Caulfield Guineas as well. But what did you make of Hedge there in his performance?
Yeah, I think the first 2 went a bit quick in running, and Hedge was a bit keen. So I think there's only 2 horses here for the Guineas. I think the winner, very professional, and She Light, up to a mile, made blinkers on. Very exciting.
Worried about him being a little...
He's very professional. He's a winner. He's 3 from 4. I think he's a likely Guineas favourite for the Victorian horses anyway. Militarise Mike.
He's a shocker forward. Here's Uncle Bryn to complete it. The Tile Importer heavily. 1,700 metres and the field. And they're racing, and the summit from barrier number 1 broke well with Juniper, and also probing up Sir Lucan. Buster Bash, the Perth Cup winner, and out wider on the courses Flash Flood. Then came Jimmy the Bear, who progresses to 6th and is trying to improve its position. 2 lengths Regal Power, followed by Shiraz Deshaun Sweet Jr. Emissary 2/3 down deep. Then Solcombe, Hustler War, he's followed by Junipel, a length Regal Power. Then came Shiraz Deshaun Sweet Jr. Emissary would spot the speed about 12 to 15 from Solcombe, Hustler War, Uncle Bryn. He's a shocker. Buster Bash is the leader to the railway side, 850 metres to go. At a relatively neutral speed for this class by a half length. Second is Flash Flood. 2 lengths Sir Lucan. Then came the Summit. A length away Jimmy the Bear up on the steel fractionally. They were followed by Junipel, Regal Power from Shiraz. Emissary improving. Then Deshaun Sweet Jr., Uncle Bryn, Well back Solcombe, Hustler War, and towards the back as He's a Shocker. Up to the corner, 450 metres to go. Buster Bash with on the outside, Flash Flood as they really do quicken it up now. About a length and a half, Sir Lucan. The Summit's getting off their backs. Junipel back on the inside. Jimmy the Bear is coming home hard. It's Flash Flood, 250 metres to go from the Summit. Jimmy the Bear, Junipel the inside, still Flash Flood at the 150. Solcombe is flashing through. Here comes Solcombe. Solcombe from the clouds. What a win! Solcombe wins it by half a length. Flash Flood, Jimmy the Bear. The Summit in a photo for fourth with Regal Power. Then came Sir Lucan. Next, He's a Shirley does put itself into calculations for the big ones.
Yeah, we were pretty...
Easy to forget just how good he was on his Australian debut in the Queen's Cup back during the Melbourne Cup Carnival last year. Effectively from that point onwards, it's been Destination Spring 2023. He made a sizzling return in it heavily, and it's worth remembering that we saw Emissary win this race last year, then win a Geelong Cup and run second in the big one.
This was a serious return from a horse that I think needs to be strongly considered as a genuine winning chance in both the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups. And I don't say that lightly because it's not usually a race that you would make a statement like that out of, but we know what he did last spring. I'm not sure he was at his absolute best during the autumn. He still ran so well when he rose in distance, but he's only going to get better over further, and he's probably only going to get better on bigger tracks. So have a look at this for him. Blake Shin still hasn't really asked him for an effort, slicing through the field just as you think he might be in trouble. He rockets home, third fastest last 200 metres of the entire day. He's a legitimate contender for both the Caulfield and Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, so he defied the pattern of the race. They went very slow, and he comes home in 10.88, 11.30 under a light ride. Exploded for Blake Shin.
And I'm not one to look at the times as well as Ben does, but I'm of the belief this horse ran a quicker 600 metres than the winner of the Cochrane, and they didn't go that fast in the Cochrane, so that's spectacular.
It is, yeah, so there's just a lot to like about it. He's got to be right there. As you know, Caulfield, Melbourne Cups, they look perfect race for him, especially the Melbourne Cup. I think you'll love Flemington, but...
Right and...
Afternoon in particular when it's the first leg of the quaddie and there's a market. Paracel now favourite, taking over Benedetta. Yes, punters getting around. Paracel here bringing that Group 3 form from Sydney. 270 with that Benedetta.
Cell bound for home, Benedetta Papillon Club. Then laced up hills, Say Magique, Dazzling Lucy from Rota Arataki. Well back is Cute As, and also at the end of the field, All About Eve. But they're cluttered up. It's only 6 lengths top end to tail. Through halfway at the 600, Dance to Dubai, a half length to Paracel. Benedetta out wider. Then came Bound for Home, a length and a quarter, Say Magique, Papillon Club, laced up heels. Then Dazzling Lucy, Rota Arataki from All About Eve, and Cute As held up at rear. Around the turn, Dance to Dubai at the 300 metres, joined by Paracel and Benedetta 3 wide. Then came Bound for Home, who's looking for a gap between horses. Say Magique into the clear. Benedetta and Paracel together with 150 to go. Paracel kick from Benedetta. Paracel, Benedetta. Benedetta gets the better of Paracel, and she won. Benedetta from Paracel, photo third. Wrote to Arataki or Say Magique, then Papillon Club. Followed then by Dazzling Lucy, Bound for Home, Cute As, laced up heels, All About Eve, and Dan
puts her name on the honour roll of the Cochrane Stakes. The 33rd edition is going to have lots of takeaways.
Yes, there's no point dragging back looking for cover. You're at the shoot start at Caulfield with Stackhouse. There's not going to be any cover. If he wants to get cover, he's going to have to drag back. So he goes and sits half a length outside of his main rival in Paracel. The betting late was all for Paracel, and I think that's a lot to do with the big syndicates, the big teams taking the horse with the map advantage, thinking that maybe Benedetta would go back. Also, Paracel had including stages. Paracel gave a really strong kick, but Benedetta was just too good the last 100 metres. Have a look at Rote to Arataki down the outside, putting her name forward for maybe a race like a Let's Elope Stakes. Probably going to have to bump into Amelia's Jewel there, but she was terrific. Liked the effort of Say Magique poking through for fourth, given she was first up off a long break. And
in the making, no doubt. The winner's just a winning machine, isn't it? I mean, 8 starts, 6 wins. Every time you raise the bar, she keeps climbing it. And
Has come up a popular favourite here and clearly the best backed here. At group level, as 4 up against Magic Time, these two have 70% of the
spring and the time to come. The Makybe Stakes, the Heath, over 1,100 metres, is the lead up to the Memsie.
I'm not sure what her...
The benefit of racing, and he's nice and fit, so 12 ahead of the 1, but as I said...
Love as for her first up here today. Good luck to Mitchie Aiken, who rides her. If he rides her like he did in the Quokka before she went out for a spell, she'll be the one to beat, so says the market. Now, next in line...
And they're racing, and Asfura from barrier number 3 broke away really well, but not as fast as Midwest, who led her early. Starry Legend out deeper on the track, and then a wall of horses. Generation on the inside with Simas Crusader and also Magic Time right behind that leading trio, followed by Ashford Street and Wee Nessie, Kalos and Ingratiating. Midwest is the leader as they reach the 650 by a length. Asfura, Starry Legend, Generation fourth behind them. Then came Ashford Street, and next in the field is Wee Nessie, Cy in a group with Mask Crusader and also Magic Time. Kalos second last, Ingratiating hunting the fence last. Midwest the first to straight and spearheads them by a length. Asfura. There's a run for Generation. Starry Legend up the middle. Then Ashford Street, Ingratiating, needing room, followed by Magic Time and Kalos. It's Midwest with Asfura the outer. Generation back on the inside at the 150. Asfura lets down up the Midwest. Asfura takes Midwest, Ingratiating late. Asfura too quick fresh. Asfura won it from Midwest, Ingratiating. Generation and Magic Time there for 4. Behind those horses, Kalos, Ashford Street.
Playground, she's 2 from 2 now at the Caulfield 1100, throws that in next to the...
like I said, there wasn't really a worrying moment in the run. You thought, well, we're in the spot, she's good enough, she'll do the rest, and she certainly did.
It didn't look like there's much returns to her victorious in the Makybe Stakes Group 3 level. Another race that's got a honour roll.
The fact that she's meant to peak in the Moy and not at Caulfield yesterday, you love seeing that loyalty to Mitch Aitken from Henry Dwyer, and he did a good job, Mitch. She can lead, she's got plenty of speed, she relaxes beautifully in the run. She's got a good turn of foot, so she came away. Second highest rating performance on the day, thanks to daily sectionals. Have a look at Ingratiating, smashing the line in behind them there, Mick. Nice horse.
Yeah, a very cool ride by Mitch Aitken. He dictated the race, and she just took one reminder there to do the job. I heard Henry pre-race.
6 minutes out from the Memsie, Snap Dancer defeating the late I'm Thunderstruck and Cascadian last year. Behemoth going winner since 2015, either with a run under the belt or coming via the Queensland Winter. So no horse has been here. Race, it's the first Group 1 of the racing season in Victoria. The Stowe Storage Memsie. And it's Mr. Brightside for you, Clint Hutchison.
It is. Any one of the top 3 can win it, though. I wish I...
Really impressed with what I've seen from the mounting yard as the horses have headed out for the Memsie. I've settled with Alligator Blood. He has just come back a lot more furnished and a lot bigger and stronger. Alligator Blood here.
So we got some stars here, and the 3 of them at the top of the market are that. They've won some big races amongst them, including Mr. Brightside, clearly the best backed runner and the clear-cut favourite for the Memsie Stakes. You know he was terrific winning first up. Craig Williams from that outside barrier. He'll give him a good pilot and follow Alligator or Blood, you would imagine. I Wish I Win, drawn the paint. Watch out for a little peekaboo ride from Lukey Nolan to get off the fence. He's...
Stand by for a start. Gates are back and they're racing. Western Empire, slow and amenable, goes back to second last. Anavisto fired out with Princess Grace a neck away early. A length band to snatch, and also Alligator Bloods charging forward with Mr. Brightside. Back behind them is Bankmore early. Then came Agon, I Wish I Win, midfield on the fence from Ozopenko. Well back in the field, Steinem, Duke de Sessa, Western Empire, nonconformist and amenable. 950 metres to go. And the front runner, Anavisto, by a length and a quarter. Alligator Blood got over to the death. Third on the inside as they reach the 800, Princess Grace, and Mr. Brightside's forced wide. A length Bandersnatch, Agon, I Wish I Win, Bankmore, Steinem wide. Next, Ozopenko, Duke de Sessa, nonconformist, well back as Western Empire, and Amenable is last. So Anavisto, 600 metres to go. Now starts to sool it up by a length, Alligator Blood. Mr. Brightside is 3 wide, 2 off the lead and coming on. Princess Grace behind them, needing to get off the fence. And behind them, I Wish I Win. Agon to the outside, followed by Bandersnatch. Alligator Blood up to Anavisto. 250 metres to go. Mr. Brightside joining in. Princess Grace behind them. Darts up underneath of them. And I Wish I Win's got out and coming as well. Mr. Brightside up to Alligator Blood at the 100. Then I Wish I Win. Princess Grace. Mr. Brightside fends them off and wins again. Mr. Brightside has won it from a photo between I Wish I Win, Princess Grace, then Alligator Blood. Seriously, a terrific Group 1. Amenable behind them, followed by Ozapenko. Western Empire's run a bit of a race. Then came Duke de Sessa, Anavisto, Steinem, Bankmore, Bandersnatch, Nonconformist, and Agon in a group at the back. Mr. Brightside wins again, brings the house down. Connections.
Anticipated a contest. We got all that and more. I Wish I Win has run enormous. So has Princess Grace coming via the Wink Stakes and Alligator Blood. He's going to be there all spring. He was excellent once again. The top four, they're all beauties and they're all going to be factors in wherever they head across the spring. But what a moment this is. Will Hayes joins twin brother JD and his older brother Ben in the training partnership, this dynasty that is Lindsay Park. 12 months.
But a wide trip here today. Didn't get a lot of favours early in the race, but probably not the normal penalty, be a little bit wider today. I Wish I Win came off his back. You think, oh, he could be in trouble here, but he just kept digging in.
We came from this preparation, and Alligator Blood was beaten, but far from disgraced in fourth. He's kept kicking. We know he's a horse that improves with a run under his belt. He'll head towards, you'd think, Makybe Diva.
Horses, the top four on the market, they've fought it out. Not quite in market order, but yeah, it was just a great race, wasn't it? Mr. Brightside with that little bit of fitness edge over the likes of I Wish I
Win in this race for the Hayes dynasty, the first for the trio of the brothers. JD now joined by his twin brother Will alongside Ben, and Craig Williams grabs his fourth victory in the race. 3 of them have been for Lindsay Park. Miss Finland, Vega Magic.
This is a good horses race, and that's a racing cliche, but go and have a look at racing.com on the honour roll of the Makybe Stakes. It would stack up against basically any race in Australia the last 20 or 30 years, and Mr. Brightside is a fitting winner of it. We saw coming out of the gates there, Jamie Carr mentioned Amenable just slipped, so he's back with Western Empire, who was slowly away. They're the last two on settling. They didn't go overly quickly in the early stages, which probably allowed Mr. Brightside to sit 3 wide on speed and still be strong at the finish. Anavisto led up from Alligator Blood. There's Mr. Brightside pouring the pressure on 3 wide. Have a look at the ride from Luke Nolan aboard I Wish I Win. Now, it wasn't victorious, but it was just a perfectly executed ride.
Followed by Bandersnatch, Alligator Blood up to Anavisto, 250 metres to go. Mr. Brightside joining in, Princess Grace behind them, darts up underneath of them, and I Wish I Win's got out and coming as well. Mr. Brightside up to Alligator Blood at the 100, then I Wish I Win, Princess Grace. Mr. Brightside fends them off and wins again. Mr. Brightside has won it from a photo between I Wish I Win.
Fully concur with your sentiments about how good this race is. There's always debate about, do we need Group 1s at this part of the spring? But this race just stands the test of time.
I agree. These first 2 runs this campaign, they seem to be as good a first 2 runs as he's ever had.
Yeah, he's ran a good race and tried his hardest. He's got a great heart, and every preparation he's just improved that little bit, and I think this prep is really...
Expert, do you look at these races early and think, oh, Mr. Brightside might get 3 wide the trip, but do we overplay it, particularly in this country?
We definitely do overplay it, depending on the early speed. So yesterday, so I'd much rather be 3 wide on speed, but if they're going really hard, then it can be a disadvantage, as everybody knows. So
place getters, because there's a lot to unpack out of the race outside of how good Mr. Brightside was. I don't think anyone attached to Princess Grace, I Wish I Win and Alligator Blood would leave Caulfield disappointed with what they saw.
Yeah, Princess Grace was very good. Obviously, she was bought from America for $1.7 million. Never raced below a mile over there. So really looking forward to seeing her in the Makybe Diva, ran super, and I Wish I Win. No match race, unfortunately. Would be great to see with Giga Kick, but I think Moo's going to trial him into the Everest. And in the yard yesterday, he had a lot of improvement to come. A bit round, woolly and will improve a lot into the Everest.
When your voice changed gears about here, Matty, in the call, I think everyone anticipated that he might just be ready to accelerate in the devastating manner we have, but clearly there's more to come from this horse fitness-wise.
A fabulous race, though, to think there were probably 4 main winning chances in a Group 1 and they were all there with 150 to go, and then that flashing green light. It was literally in the green colours smashing the clock with Amenable.
He was super. We toyed with running him in the benchmark 100, but I think we learned a lot more yesterday by going to the Memsie. We now know he measures up to that sort of grade. Home the fastest of grade. Home the fastest of the day, the last 4 and 2. So 11.08, 22 flat, which was super after he actually lost his back legs out of
the mile. We know Alligator Blood improves with a run under his belt. There's a terrific point you made about Princess Grace, who maybe was in slightly inferior ground, might be better suited up to 1,600 metres. So a lot to look forward to heading to Flemington in a couple of weeks.
As a result, IME was really well backed. Then when confirmation came and we had the draw, suddenly the pros stepped in and Zapateo was crunched. I can tell you that trend has continued. By the time we jump, I reckon there'll almost be twice as much on Zapateo as there is on IME, and IME bottomed out now out to $3.80. So got you there at $7.50, Sunshine in Paris at $7.50, Queen of the Ball at $9.
For the running of the Irresistible Pool Shirako Stakes, Group 2 for the mares. And the Shirako Stakes field is off. Last out was Gotcha and Cinderella Days, and Queen of the Ball began sharply. A lot sharper than IME, goes to third. Zapateo a couple off them fourth. Then came Gotcha from Sunshine in Paris, a gap to a tissue. And Espiona's last of all, Queen of the Ball holds the front. IME pulling a bit on the outside as Cinderella Days dropped off. So going into the bend here, Queen of the Ball leads by a half length on IME. 2 lengths away now to Cinderella Days. Gotcha rails into fourth. And Zapateo's back to fifth now and about 4 lengths off the lead. 2 lengths to Sunshine in Paris from a tissue. And Espiona sees them all coming to the corner. Queen of the Ball weathering the storm from IME. Then Cinderella Days, Gotcha the inside, and now Lloyd pulling out on Zapateo, and she's starting to run on well. It's Queen of the Ball flat to the boards from IME the outside. Zapateo lengthening, Cinderella Days hanging, and down the outside is Sunshine in Paris. Gotcha up the fence, a tissue ran into a dead end. Sunshine in Paris wide out, stormed to the front and kicked away. Sunshine in Paris wins the Shirako. Espiona flew home to get second, Zapateo third. Just in front of either on the inside Gotcha or a tissue, who probably should have finished closer. They beat off IME from Queen of the Ball and Cinderella Days.
What a win to Sunshine in Paris, a Group 1 winner of the Surround. That was back in February. She went for a spell. She went through the Magic Round. That was back in February. She went for a spell. She went through the Magic Millions broodmare sale. She's got new colours and cost $3.9 million. And John Camilleri says...
Zapateo working into it, and I was saying she's on her tail. Sunshine in Paris is on her tail. And all of a sudden she let rip with this tremendous turn of speed. The other horse that was back in the field that ran on really nicely was Espiona as well. A great performance from the 2 that were back.
Our way through the 4 feature events on the program, starting with the Shirako through the fillies and mares, and Dan, the Surround winner. Sunshine in Paris saw off a fairly good group of mares.
Yeah, spot on. We haven't seen this filly since February last year. The format of that race, Ruthless Dame finished behind her, In Secret finished behind her, Gotcha finished behind her. First time we've seen her on the track since, and she was very impressive. This race in recent years, in the last 3 years, 3 years ago we saw Hawkbury on her, and people probably questioned Chris Waller about sending her into an Everest. She ran 5th, and Trivier then won the race, and then last year Shades of Rose won this race and then went into the Everest as well. So I think off the back of that, when you look at the top 3 or 4 in that race in the Everest.
Fair bit of depth to this Ming dynasty, but as it turns out, not many other punters agree, because 70% of the money is on 2 horses here. NCAP is one of those, but the majority of the money is with Tom Kitten. So it's those 2, and then a huge gap back in terms of money held on the rest. Raff Attack.
The last to load.
Racing. Cafe Millennium was last out, and Kintyre jumped well together with Congregation. Infatuation there along with Vomo Island. This is a keen go for the lead. NCAP's really handy down there on the rails from Chaya Wolf. Congregation drifting back a bit now. from Cap Ferrar. They're followed then by Steel Blaze on the improver, going along the inside, going into the first turn. Further back then to Ashford from Missile Defence. Tom Kitten's well back in the field on the outside of Tannhauser. Ducasse got back and Cafe Millennium is the last one. The field is well strung out down the side and Raff Attack charges to the front. Raff Attack by 2 lengths and Infatuation as they race down the side of the course. Kintyre is the length and a half away, third on the outside of NCAP, then Vomo Island. Further back to Cap Ferrar on the inside of Chayawolf pulling deeper out. Then came Congregation from Townsend and Tom Kitten's going to make the bend pretty deep as they straighten up now. Can Raff Attack keep going? He's 2 lengths clear from Infatuation. Kintyre. NCAP's off the fence now. No hard luck stories for NCAP. He moved up to take the lead now at the 200 metres from Chayawolf. Kintyre further back to Cap Ferrar, but NCAP's broken clear here. It's NCAP 2 lengths in front of Chayawolf and he breaks the maiden in style today in the Ming Dynasty. NCAP won easily there from Chayawolf. Not sure about third. Tom Kitten, Cafe Millennium and Kintyre close up. Ducasse doing his best work at the finish. Followed then by Infatuation, Raff Attack, Steel Blaze, Vomo Island. Further back to...
And the perfect place to break your maiden is in a group race, and Gary Portelli produces On Cap with Brett Preble, giving it a peach of a ride, helped by that inside, and also Tom.
And this will really help him as far as getting his nose in front because he's been beaten a few times in his career.
Actually grabbed third. Here's the winning trainer, Gary Portelli.
Tissue both getting home well for the Waller stable. Simon, it's been good to see Brett Preble make the move to Sydney and get good opportunities and execute them. That was the case here in the Ming Dynasty on NCAP for Gary Portelli.
He certainly made the most of Barrier 1, put the horse into a terrific position, and the horse broke its maiden status with a Group 3 win. Some very excited connections.
Plenty of stallions. Look at that, Denman, Hello Crown, Exosphere, Astern, and more recently, Bivouac.
Yeah, so they took over a 3-year-old Quality.
Yeah, so Cylinder's attracted about 45% of the interest and is always very popular. No different in this one. There are a couple a little bit further down that have been back. Libertad is one of those. Butch Cassidy's attracted some interest, 11 into $9.50, but the money pretty much goes in terms of market order. Cylinder 230, pretty quiet. What's gambling real?
100 metres, and the gates are back. They're off and racing, and Dahl missed the kick. Out the back together with Militarize, and Libertad jumps sharply with Butch Cassidy and Moravia being sent forward out wide. Don Corleone's up running fourth, close up then Cylinder, followed by Chrysaor improving in advance at General Salute. Then came Nadal and Militarizers last of all. Moravia's doing plenty of work here from the wide draw. Moravia's going to cross the entire field to lead. Out by a length now as he steadies the speed. Butch Cassidy keeps going on with the job in advance of Libertad, then Don Corleone and the white cap. Further back to the favourite Cylinder. General Salute on a wide par from Chrysaor, Nadal and Militarized last of a bunch field in the run to the Rose, and Moravia shows the way from Butch Cassidy breathing down his neck. A length and a half to Don Corleone from Libertad. Cylinders all cluttered up at the moment from General Salute as they race inside the 300 metres. It's Moravia in front from Butch Cassidy. Cylinders not out yet. Moravia still in front from Butch Cassidy. Now Nadal is starting to thunder home. Moravia in front from Butch Cassidy. Cylinders out now. He's charging, going to Moravia. Oh, Cylinder got out of jar to win the run to the Rose. Cylinder just edged out Moravia, and third between Butch Cassidy, Nadal. Then General Salute, Militarized flushing home. Further back to Libertad and Chrysaor, and an epic finish to the run to the Rose.
What a gun jockey he is, Nashville Willow. We've spoken time and time again about his patience. Well, he was forced ahead and said, you get through that gap, and right on the line, nails Moravia on the line as Nadal was flashing like Lizzie expected him to do. Butch Cassidy was there right in the mix.
There was a good bit of tempo in that race as well.
For the stable that he's come back and he's now 2 out of 2, and he's got up and claimed the run to the Rose a fortnight out from the Golden Rose. It's what a great energy.
Fantastic finish to the day. They won the run to the Rose with Cylinder, the Golden Mile winning the Theo Marks, and then they had Red Card win the final event of the afternoon. Then Cylinder doing Cylinder things here.
Would have been very unlucky if he didn't win the race. If he gets out and sprints quickly, have a look at Militarized down the outside. He's the one that I want to take out of the race. Hopefully in a race like a Golden Rose or a Caulfield Guineas, Militarised can draw a barrier and settle a little bit closer, because you can't be winning many races like that. I know
It's a cracking edition of the Theo Marks. Let's get a market update with...
Well, before we even got to this stage, Wednesday we were talking about $6 the field. Now it's $4.40 about Argentia and $5 about Nugget. Both of them have firmed. There's only a 19-cent deduction, so Nugget's been a fair trim up, 11 into $5. That 11, though, with nearly a 20% deduction on it. Madame Pomeroy at $6.50. Golden Mile at $7.50 opened up at double figures. Crosstalk there at...
And we're ready to go on the Theo Marks. They're off and racing. Flying Crazy missed the kick by a length and a half. Now jumping quite well was Golden Mile together with Argentia, and now Crosstalk is starting to show plenty of zip. Cuban Real jump well, settles in fourth position with Nugget moving up on the outside. Kerwin's Lane the rail. They're followed by Waterford from Madame Pomeroy, the inevitable. Further back then to Kovalika from Flying Crazy, and Commando Hunt's last of all. And about 15 off the lead, so Crosstalk got across, led out by a length and a half on the well-supported favourite Argentia. Golden Mile got down to the rails third, and Nugget fourth, one out, one back. They're followed then by Cuban Real in advance of Waterford. Further back to Kerwin's Lane from the inevitable Madame Pomeroy. Kovalika well back from Flying Crazy, and Commando Hunt sees them all. 500 to go. Crosstalk in front from Argentia, getting a bit closer on the outside. Golden Mile hugging the rails. Isn't a great deal of room to go through. Nugget popped the question. Likewise Waterford. Further back to Cuban Real. Crosstalk under siege, and Golden Mile slipped up on the rails. Golden Mile took the lead from Argentia, sticking on. Likewise Nugget. Waterford, the inevitable, coming down the outside, but Golden Mile's got a good kick. The inevitable flashing home on the outside. Golden Mile in front, wins the Theo Marks. Golden Mile beat the inevitable. Waterford third in front of Nugget and Argentia. Further back to Cuban Real and Kerwin's Lane. Then Crosstalker got a bit tired from Madame Pomeroy. Flying Crazy, Kovalika, and
Caulfield Guineas winner is back, and his name is Golden Mile. Well, he kicked off this campaign being so unlucky. James McDonald rode him on that occasion in the missile. He was nearly put through the rail there. Then he had his second up through the rail there. Then he had his second up run in the Wing Stakes, and to be fair, he was horrible. They put the blinkers on him today, James McDonald, and that's the real Golden Mile that you know.
Yeah, that sparked them up, didn't it? And they got a lovely run right in behind the speed and just proved...
It was outstanding.
And Catherine, it was Nashra Willer again in the Theo Marks for Godolphin with Golden Mile, last year's Caulfield Guineas winner, and James Cummings saying post-race they're likely to head to the Premier next, so maybe keeping their options open for perhaps an Everest as well.
Yeah, look, I know quite a few people had their doubts about this horse and were saying it wasn't the strongest addition when he won the Caulfield Guineas, but, you know, to see him come back and do that, you've got to think he's a serious horse.
Fantastic to see the inevitable flashing home as well.
Yeah, he was terrific. That was a good race, the Theo Marks. I'm with Dan, though. I thought the Shirako was the race of the day there.
He's drawn 4 and he's going to get a lovely run on speed, and they're getting home off the fence here today at the Valley, so it all suits, but 240 out to 270. He clearly is the most popular by way of bet count and turnover.
Unbeaten records in both Stepati and Centify. Clinton, not an easy race to sort out.
He's got some quality, some presence about him, but particularly taken with the price.
Start win here at the Valley, but also Stepati now. Punters rallying around the unbeaten Stepati. He's first up. He's nice and fresh. Small field suits. 270 into $2.50. Money coming.
Gates are back and racing. Brave Meat a touch slow. Amur broke well with Stepati. And as they complete the first 200 metres, it's Amur Stepati introducing between them, and Armed Forces. Almost 4 across the track as introducing eventually went to the lead from Stepati, who sat outside the leader. Amur wanted the box seat and got it. Armed Forces fourth one off the fence. A length and a half Brave Meat outside of Centify. Introducing at the 750, led 3/4 Stepati using a bit of the track. A length and a half Amur, Armed Forces, Brave Mead the outside of Centify. At the school, 600 metres to go. The leader is introducing from Stepati. It hasn't been run hard. Armed Forces, Amur, Brave Mead getting going from the back. It had to. It's only 2 off the front, and Centify is going to follow it into the race. Approaching the corner, it's introducing just in front of Stepati, and they're about to really hot it up. They were followed by Brave Mead the outside. Further back in the field, Centify. Stapati in front around the corner from Brave Mead at the 150. It's Stapati, 3/4 Brave Mead. Centify the outside. Stapati in a sprint to the line is going to win. Stapati, a nice winner. Centify second, Brave Mead third. Introducing All Armed Forces for 4, and Amur couldn't sprint, finished last of the 6.
He could be something really special, this horse. Stephardy keeps his unbeaten record intact, winning the listed Mackenzie Stakes. Gee, he's a horse that we could see back here as a lightweight chance in a Cox Plate. He seemed to have handled the circuit brilliantly, and Hutch, a horse we can certainly get excited about for his 3-year-old campaign.
Yeah, keeps that terrific record intact. And
the Carlton-specific call of the AFL finals going on at the moment. Maybe it will be like a press red for Rick situation as Stapati's campaign continues to unfold.
This is he's a very good horse, isn't he? And I was most encouraged by hearing from the likes of Warren and Jane as to just what a beast this guy's come back like. He's an exciting horse. This was a very slowly run race, and he's just used his turn of foot to race away from a couple of nice horses in Brave Mead and also Centify. But, it's going to get tougher, and he's got to do it over further. But every time he goes to the races, he when the bar is raised, he answers the challenge.
Mike, you've seen a plethora.
Love him. He's a winner. He just keeps winning. He controls races. Yesterday was dominant. Like, you knew after they'd gone 50 metres and he was going to lob outside the lead that the race was over. At the top of the straight, he's got that quick turn of foot. Johnny Allen was easy on him in the last 100 metres. Relative times for the day, I don't really, as a punter, don't really care about that. I just look at the arrogance of the win. I love the way the horse relaxed.
How do you quantify
this horse running in a Caulfield Guineas, like an our Maze case, sitting right on the speed and just putting 3 or 4 lengths on them. And I know it's going to be a really strong race with Militarise and all these horses coming down from Sydney, but I think a horse like Stapati is going to be right there controlling the tempo.
So great segue.
No, I'm strongly with her. And, I wanted to see an even track. If anything, you're probably getting, in my opinion, a track that probably will suit her.
For me, I've gone with Charmstone. Second up.
Party, and now Charmstone, one-way traffic here for the fillies. She was terrific winning last start, and punters say she can win again. Second up here. Drawn a little Orcs out there, but it seems to be the place to be today. Charmstone 3.
And the assistant starter puts up the signal. They're racing. Molly Nickers out the back to Sonic Boom second last. Pride of Sullivan led with Oz Empress. Charmstone from that sticky draw is also pushing on, and Inhibitions kept her out there. A length away to Treasure Way, and they were followed by Beauty Rising to Sonic Boom, right to Party Zuccarette, and at the tail of the field off the back section, Molly Nickers. So with 850 metres to run, Pride of Sullivan, 3/4 of a length, Oz Empress, a length and a half, Treasure Way, and Charmstone's obliged to race deep. Inhibitions between fillies, 2 lengths right to Party, who's 3 wide around Beauty Rising and to Sonic Boom. Zuccaretta's second last and Molly Nickers last. Pride of Sullivan got a little bit of a breather as they reach the 500 metres from Oz Empress. Charmstone a length and a half away. Then Treasure Way, Inhibitions right to Party to Sonic Boom, held up from Beauty Rising, Zuccarette and Molly Nickers. Pride of Sullivan, Oz Empress quicken up at the 250. Charmstone is still there. Inhibitions needs a run, and then came Treasure Way. Pride of Sullivan at the 150. Charmstone lets down. Charmstone up the middle of the track takes the lead. Inhibitions is out to Sonic Boom flying. Charmstone a tough winner. Charmstone won it. Photo second to Sonic Boom or Inhibitions, and Molly Nickers from last has run 4. Then came Oz Empress, Pride of Sullivan from Zuccarette, Beauty Rising, Treasure Way, and No Ping from right to Party finished last. That is a win.
She's made the perfect start to her 3-year-old campaign, has Charmstone, and she's put another win down on the page, certainly living up to her big price tag, and there's plenty more in store for her. Do all roads lead to a job done?
She did. She's a class act, and Damien Lane rode her like the best horse. He kept her in a beautiful rhythm. Yes, she was 3 wide, no cover, but 3 wide's not a problem today. It's better ground than where those down on the inside. And
walking, which adds some merit to her performance, and she was just better than them. At 1,200 metres, there's some fillies there like Molly Nickers that are going to be really well suited when they can get out over more ground. I think she's quite a nice filly, but
In her 3-year-old spring, won the Quizette, and then yesterday Damien Lane had her sitting 3 wide, travelling, and in the end she was too good.
She was indeed. There was so much hype and impressive trials, jump outs in a 2-year-old season, huge starting prices, and she didn't quite live up to it as a 2-year-old for a variety of reasons, immaturity, but she's come back and run right up to those starting prices and the boom and the trials, this preparation. That win was terrific in fast time. This was an arrogant win against a good field. She's heading to the Golden Rose. I don't know about 1400 for her, but that aside, class-wise, I think she's up to it. This is a genuine Coolmore Stud Stakes contender and a very good filly. So the most surprising thing about Charmstone was all in, she was even money to 220, and on a track that everyone I spoke to thought the rail was not going to be the place to be. They bet $3.80 final field, and she was $3 for most of it.
She jumped positively, and Damien was happy to sit 3 wide, no cover.
Well, I love Damien Lane's post-race interview to try and continue to pop the balloon and the perception around that 3 wide, no cover in Australian racing is not the spot to be.
Well, I think he's had the benefit of riding in Japan for a lot of time, and they're very happy sitting 3 and 4 wide, so long as the horse is fluent and has got the momentum, and the momentum's not interrupted. I think he thought...
Let's switch our attention now to the sprint, and I'll tell you, arguably the best sprinter in Australia resumes, and over 80% of turnover is with Giga Kick. He's back, folks. Even money he got out to today, would you believe it? Bang, into $1.75, $1.80. He's here to play the way this track shapes.
Kick just wanted to sort of see an even surface. He'll get the pace on. He's the best horse in the race, and I think he'll round them up pretty easily. I think Imperatriz looks the danger. Ackerman...
And the extra weight that he's got, and he looks well strengthened up to do that, then he's the pick of the yard. But you'd...
For sure. Craig Williams, small field, 1,000 metres out of that chute. How close will he be at the 300 when they turn for home? Well, we know he's got the acceleration. Looking down the page, knows he's got the acceleration. Looking down the page there, Soft Imperatriz, Rothfire trims half a point to $5. And the best back to now, these sprinters heading towards there, in particular Imperatriz. We know she won the William Reid. She's on her way to a Moya and also a Manukau.
I wonder if we've got a manual start coming up. We do. I think it was a manual start there racing, and Giga Kick missed it by a length and a half. Acromantula began quickly with Sarah Dess, and also Zoo Style as Burning Rubber. How's the Serenity got to 4th, and they were followed behind those by Rothfire, Imperatriz, and Giga Kick is last of all. Zoo Style is the front runner through the gap of the 700 metres, led by a neck to Acromantula. A length and a quarter. How's the Serenity, Sarah Dess, and they were followed by Rothfire, Imperatriz, and Giga Kick's getting going from the back of the field. Satellite has gone past 1's gone past 2, and is only 4 off the lead coming up to the corner. 400 metres to go. Zoo Style from Acromantula. Then how's the Serenity? Giga Kick is trying to loop them 4 and 5 deep, followed by Rothfire. Imperatriz is going to come the widest into the running. Terrific race at the 150. Imperatriz has swept past all of them and has raced up and grabbed the lead from Giga Kick and Rothfire. What a win this! Imperatriz, a magnificent display, has won by 2 and a quarter. Rothfire and Giga Kick. Wowee! Then came Zoo Style. How's the Serenity, Acromantula, and Sarah Dess.
What a start to the Australian venture of trainer Mark Walker and Tiaka Racing. Imperatriz, we knew she was a star before today. She's been the winner of 5 Group 1 races in her career, and this mare just loves the valley. She's now 2 from 2. Clint, what a performance by a top-class mare.
Top-class mare, loved the ride as well. This was as cool as it gets from Mickey D. Just sat out the back, took his one in the style of a top-class horse, and Ben, track record as well.
That was stunning. That was to away from him over 1,000 metres for the horse that we thought maybe was the least suited at 1,000 metres in the race. 56.68, taking 0.3 just about off the track record. So 0.18 anyway off the track record there of Inundation. Anyway off the track record there of Inundation, 56.84. So 0.16 and about 0.3 off Nature Strip's performance, that is, from Imperatriz. So I don't know if they were talking Everest with her. They probably have to think about it. They have mentioned that the VR...
You just couldn't do that 2 meetings ago. You'd be in the quicksand. So to see the track giving every horse every possible chance, I thought was great for her.
The return of Giga Kick and also Imperatriz, who of course was the winner of the William Reid back in March. She became the 7th mare to win the McEwen yesterday, the last being Bella Vella back in 2020. She takes 0.16 of a second off the track record here.
Stunning performance. Of course, the big talking point at the start of the race was Gear Kick missing the start. So I was reading an article on racing.com post the races yesterday in regards to Gear Kick. Craig Williams put his hand up and blamed pilot error. He ran, I think it was 20.89 between the 800 to the 400 on a track record speed first up after missing the start. So hopefully he comes through that run okay. But have a look at the finish for Imperatriz. I wondered whether 1,000 might prove too sharp for her, but she can go on and win just about anything this spring on the back of this.
Imperatriz has swept past all of them and has raced up and grabbed the lead from Giga Kick and Rothbile. What a win this. Imperatriz, a magnificent display.
Nothing like hearing Matty Hill's voice change gears like it did yesterday, and with good reason, given what him.
We'll head towards the Moya, which has been our second up target the whole time, and there's still options open after that. So we'll concentrate on the Moya at the moment. And
she also took care of yesterday. You feel like it's well set up, but then you quickly forget that we're going to have Asfoora probably going to the McEwen, which sort of changes the dynamic of what we saw yesterday.
The big thing is just going to be how's the Valley track play. So if it's fence off or fair like yesterday, then I don't think they'll be stopping Imperatriz on that performance from beating her. But we have seen that night then sometimes inside can be advantaged, and then a horse like Asfoora will have a significant advantage over Imperatriz, who's going to get back over 1,000 metres. The Valley, depended on how the track is playing, but assuming it plays beautifully as it did yesterday, then good luck trying to beat Imperatriz. That was some sort of a win.
No doubt. Alert in the yard. He's got good strength, and those two handlers with EJ on the inside is quite normal. Don't be concerned if you're seeing that. He looks great.
Forgot You is a Melbourne Cup. This guy sits in the second line of betting for this year's Melbourne Cup.
5 and 7.
Number 11 is Globe for Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. He's 4 from 4, unbeaten. This is his biggest career test to date, Ben.
It is, but beating a subsequent multiple city winner in Normandy Bridge. His jump out was outstanding, and the market has gone whack. 360 to 280, suggesting he can measure up.
Touch, but he certainly wasn't disgraced.
No, and he's the runner that I took out of it each way here today. Second up, hopefully he gets.
2023 Clam Seafood Fian Stakes over the mile. It's a field with a bit of depth this year. Clint, which way are you leaning?
Gee, that horse on screen, it's a tough race. Attrition, I went with out of the Lauren.
First up, terrific race. Pick of the yard for me, number 13, Attrition.
You got 6th Attrition, second up there, but it's about Globe here. Phenomenal stuff here for the fee in the feature race. He was drifting through most of the day in the market, and then all of a sudden, crunch, when it come to race time, 3.80, hit the $2.90 mark, and now $3.10 for Globe. First up here.
White and blue. Set for the Fian, and they're racing. Globe towards the outside, one of the best to begin with Attrition, and also pounding. Savatu Excel is sweeping across the face of the field and will lead. Tuvalu is going to follow it over and will sit in the breeze. So as they head to the bottom corner, 12.50 out, Savatu Excel led easily from Globe, and then came Tuvalu, who got some cover. Deny Knowledge pushes on, then pounding Attrition and Goldman deeper. 2 lengths Pinstripe, Forgot You, El Bodegon, Lunar Flare. Towards the back, Alaskan God and Virtuous Circle is last. Savatu Excel, 1,000 metres to go by 3/4 Deny Knowledge. Globe has got the box seat, 1.5 lengths to Tuvalu. A length Goldman pounding Attrition, and then came Pinstripe, Forgot You, El Bodegon. Lunar Flare is third last, and then came Alaskan God, and Virtuous Circle is last of all. Deny Knowledge puts the foot down on the outside of Savatu Excel, and they run this bit pretty hard at the 650, 2.5 lengths to Globe. Tuvalu has slid up on the outside of the favourite and run on by it for now. They were followed by Goldman. Pinstriped is out deeper than Attrition. Pounding, trying to extricate off the fence. I think Globe's under enormous pressure here. Then Forgot You, El Bodegon. Deny Knowledge went to the front with 300 metres to go, but Tuvalu now shades it. Pinstriped is right there. Under pressure, Savatu Excel boxes on, and then came Attrition. Tuvalu and Pinstriped up the middle of the track at the 150. Tuvalu and Pinstripe pounding runs on, then Attrition. Pinstriped up to Tuvalu. Pinstripe just in front. Attrition with a late dive. Pinstripe has won it. Pinstripe wins from Attrition. Tuvalu pounding. Then Alaskan God, what a run. They were followed next by Deny Knowledge, Goldman, Lunar Flare, Forgot You, Savatu Excel, Virtuous Circle, El Bodegon, and the balloon is bust. Globe was gone at the 400 metres, runs a clear last.
Pinstripe adds a Group 2 Fenn Stakes win to his CS Hayes win that he picked up as a 3-year-old. He's always been a horse that's promised a lot, and he's delivered today at Moonee Valley. He seems to have a liking from the track. He's now 2 from 2, and Hutch, that race set up beautifully for him.
Well done to Ben Allen. Well,
you know what I've loved to see today, Hutch, is genuinely run contests that have been about finding the fastest horse on the day. They've really been some tests of stamina today, these races here at the Valley. And
Cox Plate qualifier, so winner has the option to go to the race. That is now at the feet of Pinstripe, who became the third straight 5-year-old gelding, second up off a run in the Lawrence to win this race. And Ben Allen had the nerve settler with the win on Place of Gold earlier on in the day, and he was able
I think was a crucial factor in Pinstripe being able to win yesterday. Attrition showed he's up to this grade. It was a terrific run. Just held up at a key stage on the turn. Tuvalu was the best of those on speed. And Globe, I suppose, is the big talking point. He was in behind a fast speed there, but he pulled up with atrial fibrillation. And speaking to the stable this morning, that's reverted back to normal overnight by itself, so they've just got to see how he comes through the week to decide what they do next.
Pounding, trying to extricate off the fence. I think Globe's under enormous pressure here. Then Forgot You, El Bodegon. Deny Knowledge went to the front with 300 metres to go, but Tuvalu now shades it. Pinstriped is right there. Under pressure, Savatu Excel boxes on, and then came Attrition. Tuvalu and Pinstriped up the middle of the track at the 150. Tuvalu and Pinstripe pounding runs on, then Attrition. Pinstriped up to Tuvalu. Pinstripe just in front. Attrition with a late dive. Pinstripe has won it. Pinstripe wins from Attrition.
So Pinstripe wins the Fenn, his first group victory since taking out the CS Hayes as a 3-year-old. And I guess collectively we feel like the horse has got back to the horse we thought and expected him to be at 3 when he was close up in an Australian Guineas, then went to an All-Star Mile. And then EJ's been really clear.
By race, and has delivered on that promise that we all suspected that he had earlier in his career.
I loved EJ's post-race interview.
I thought the second horse is the horse with the most upside in the race. I've been following this horse for a long time. I think Mitch Friedman's done an excellent job with him. They were very patient in this. I thought he was a touch unlucky yesterday. I thought the ride was outstanding. He just got held up. Tuvalu didn't cart him far enough into the straight, held up for a stride or two, and he was super strong late. So Attrition for me held up for a stride or two, and he was super strong late. So Attrition for me going forward, I think stretching him.
Yeah, they can talk about Cox Plates. I think this is more Toorak handicap form. You have Romantic Warrior and some other big names going towards a Cox Plate, but Attrition's the one that I really want to follow for a Toorak, because Pinstripe, OK, they both had only...
Is there, so, yeah, Jamie just said he was a bit wobbly, and Grace Forbes said atrial fibrillation, so we're assuming it reversed.
For Globe going forward.
Yeah, look, definitely not a prep ending condition or anything like that, and hearing from the stable, it's corrected itself overnight.
James, tell us about Tis Invincible.
Oh, here she is, isn't she? She's the glamour filly of the series so far. She hasn't put a foot wrong. She's
40% of the Holden. One punter has just had a $15,000 bet on her at 3.30, so they're certainly keen. Komochi, second elect, just easing a touch now at 3.70, up from 3.60 this morning, but Tis Invincible firms again into 3.20. She's all the rage. Tropical Squall, most of them. So as you mentioned, Bruce, the top two certainly all the rage, but Tis Invincible looks very popular with the...
Tis Invincible in the T race. Here's Darren.
Stakes. Sensible favourite, and they're off now on the T-Rose. Nantucket Island was last out with Private Legacy, and Tropical Squall bounded out of the gate sharply together with Miss Charlene, and Autumn Ballet jumped a lot better today, and she moves into second spot from Miss Charlene. The second favourite, Komochi, up on the outside of the favourite, Tis Invincible. So all the main plays are up there early. In advance of Zardozi, then came August Bloom from Mumbai Muse, Private Legacy, the rails. A length into Summer Loving, clear from Unique Ambition, French Endeavour. Further back to Nantucket Island, railing through inside Tutar Levita. Platinum Jubilees out wide, and 2 lengths away to Captain Amelia. Tropical Squall at a pretty steady tempo leads here from Miss Charlene, and Komochi goes to third in a 3-wide position. Autumn Ballet fourth, the fence, a length off to Tis Invincible. Just being babysat there by August Bloom, the outside. Zardozi back on the rails, then came Mumbai Muse, and Summer Loving as they turn, and Tropical Squall ups the ante now. The stablemate Autumn Ballet's off the fence giving chase. Komachi still there. Up on the inside now, Tis Invincible. In restricted room, it's Tropical Squall just the leader. Tis Invincible off the fence. Komachi the outside. It's game on in the T-Rose, and Tis Invincible takes the lead from Komachi. Tis Invincible 2 lengths clear from Komachi. Tropical Squall and Tis Invincible makes it 3 out of 3 this preparation. A dominant win over Komachi. Tropical Squall third there in the T-Rose. A gap back to the rest. French Endeavour, Private Legacy hitting the line well. Getting ready for a mile. Then Summer Loving. Further back to Autumn Ballet. Captain Amelia, Miss Charlene, August Bloom, Unique Ambition, Mumbai Muse.
James, but she was so dominant at the end.
Yeah, she's obviously the best filly in her generation up here in Sydney, and that performance was sensational. She obviously got over racing a tad through the middle stages, but her acceleration's devastating, and she put the field away pretty easily there.
Brilliant win. Les Kiramar now with Emma Freeman after.
This particular trophy will grow in stature. It's worth $1 million today.
We're absolutely chuffed and on it, eh? The 7 stakes, and it's got a fantastic field today. 7 Group 1 winners. So James, Zaki and Fangirl too.
Oh, he is. He's a 2-time Group 1 winner. He's come back in great style. Of course, he had his issues where he had a long time off the scene, but he looks to have come.
You're looking at him now. You've looked at him behind a moment ago. How does he look to you?
Yeah, he looks phenomenal. He's parading beautifully. Got a real soft spot for her. The only thing that worries me about her, Bruce, is that she's going to be back and spotting Zaki and think it over a long way. I know the track's playing.
Our favourite is now Zaki. All the right late money is coming for him. And Fangirl, she's lay of the day. So she's out to $350 now from $290, albeit she is still best backed. Think it over. In a touch, 5 into $480. Who You Mal, 6 global, and then $34 or more the rest of them. So Fangirl lay of the day. It's always
$3 favourite. Light on for the 7 stakes. They're off and racing. And there's a nice line out. Zayrex jumped well together with the favourite Zaki. Going Global's very handy on the rails, and Hinge being sent forward wide out. Think It Over drops in 4th in front of Zayrex. Further back to My Oberon on the inside of Who You Mal, Diamond, and Arapahoe's very wide out. Fangirl's gone down to the rails to sit on the inside of Fireburn. Going Global goes along at a strong speed. Leads the favourite Zaki up by 2.5 lengths. Hinge races to 3rd in advance of Think It Over. Then Zayrek from My Oberon. 2 lengths further back to Who You Mal, being partnered by Diamond. Further back in the field, Arapahoe just a touch keen on the outside of Fangirl. She's improving along the rails, Fangirl, but well off the lead. And Fireburn sees them all. So Going Global, the American mare, leads at the 800 metres by 2 lengths on the favourite Zaki. Hinged into a clear 3rd. Then Think It Over in 4th on the rails from Zayrek. Further back to My Oberon, then came Diamond. Hieronymus puts Who You Mal into a 3-wide position to creep closer. Fangirl all cluttered up on the fence from Arapahoe, and Fireburn's last of all. Going Global at the 500 metres, coasting along in the lead by a length on Zaki. 2 lengths away then to Think It Over, starting to come into the race. Nash about to come off heels, hasn't done so yet. Then Zayrek. My Oberon's creeping into the race, but Zaki, Chad Schofield said go. Zaki races 2 lengths clear. Think It Over, now he gets off heels. It's Zaki a length in front. Think It Over's coming. Zaki in front. Think It Over being lifted by Nash. Yes, got up. Think It Over, nailed Zaki right on the line. I think My Oberon 3rd from Zayrek, Who You Mal and Fangirl. Then Going Global, Fireburn, Diamond and Arapahoe.
Well, they've won about $19 million between them. How good was that, J-Mac and Katie, to see these 2 great warriors? What have we got? We've got an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old stride for stride in the last 100 metres.
That was incredible, obviously. So exciting finish. Just stalked Zaki right up to the last little bit, but got the measure of him late.
And what a training performance from Kerry Parker to get this horse back after such a long time off. In this preparation, he's done such a marvellous job.
Yeah, that's a bit understated. I think he's done an incredible job, especially at that age.
Kerry, I can see this means a lot because this horse gave you a massive thrill.
At Randwick, as we know, the George Main rebadge as the King Charles has been moved to the Everest. The replacement was the $1 Million 7 Stakes, attracted a similar field to what it would have, and great to see Think It Over get back to the winners list. He was, of course, off a long break from his Queen Elizabeth win of 2022, 6th in the Winx, 3rd in the Chelmsford, just sees off Zaki. There was a bit of a gap to Fangirl back in 3rd. We'll see all those horses, you'd imagine.
Is that, J-Mac?
Absolutely. You can see a few winners there from the Everest. So this is definitely a key lead up, and whoever takes out today's shorts will be definitely a big chance.
So in secret,
these horses will be wound up to be on show to try and get one of those slots in the Everest. It's only 4 weeks away, so he's resuming. He looks like he's trolled up well. Joe Pride and Astral Willow already with a win.
All about In Secret here, guys. She's got almost 50% of the hold. The punters are very keen on her, but the tab keen to let you on. She's at that $3 quote now, out from $2.70, but don't let the price fool you. They're dangling the carrot. Overpass second elect, 6 into $5. Buenos Noches in a nip, 8 into $7.50. Remark has been for Lost and Running, who looked a picture in the yard, as the guys mentioned, 12 into $9.50. Private Eye has gone 10 to 12. Hawaii 5-0, 12 out to 14. And then Marzu heads the rest of them $23 or more. So she's staying pretty solid at the top of the...
Racing now on the shorts. Thelric Whiteout began particularly well. So did Overpass on the rails. Remark bounced well. So did Hawaii 5-0. Private Eyes jumped well, but drifting back into 5th position now. They're followed then by In Secret, Lost and Running out deep from Ruthless Dame. Further back to Buenos Noches on the rails, and the roughies rocketing by, and Casino Lord back last of all. Josh Parr's got the front and Overpass by 3/4 to a Thelric. Remark very well positioned third. A length into Hawaii 5-0. Private Eye seeing plenty of daylight. So's Lost and Running. Buenos Noches back on the rails from In Secret. A bit cluttered up coming to the turn from Ruthless Dame. Marzu well back from Rocketing by, and Casino Lords last of all. 3:75 to go. Overpass in front from a Thelric. Private Eye on the outside of Hawaii 5-0. Remarks trying to come off the fence. Inside the 200. Overpass still the leader. Boy, Private Eye, he's still coming the outside. Overpass from Private Eye. Buenos Noches late on the scene. Private Eye going to Overpass. Bob of the head. Private Eye, I'd say, he's got there. Give it to Private Eye. A half head to Overpass. Buenos Noches charging into third. Then came Remark from In Secret. Further back, Hawaii 5-0 rocketing by. Then came Casino Lord, Lost and Running, Ruthless
time, but this is big. He won on Eduardo a couple of years ago for Joe Pride, but this is so important for Private Eye. And so, James, when you look at the 1, 2, 3, if this Everest is going to fill up after this race.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if all 4 get a slot there. Overpass was terrific out in front. Obviously, Private Eye winning the race, he'll definitely get a slot. And Buenos Noches, incredible run from back in the field, making tremendous amount of ground.
Yeah, I mean, Private Eye was all on as he was given a really...
And get way out of his ground and then rocket over the top. But he was nice and close to the speed there. Overpass superb, Buenos Noches ditto, and In Secret as well. What about the day Nash is having, if you don't mind? 3 on the day, including the big one, the shorts. And let's catch up with Joe Pride.
In a few weeks' time. The shorts will talk about, don't forget about Private Eye. Joe Pride is going to go to the Everest with a 2-pronged attack. He's going to have Think About It, and this guy who we remember, he came here last year and announced himself as a really good sprinter. He'd already got the business done out to 1,600 metres. That was a really powerful performance yesterday to defeat a very strong field, a number of the combatants he's likely to have a crack against in the Everest again.
Yeah, it's great to see him back. I don't think he was at his absolute best in the autumn for whatever reason. So it can happen with horses, but that was a great sign to see him give us a reminder of just how good he is.
In the race, Bruce, but really tricky. The punters are finding this one hard to line up. So Converge has been solid all week, but he doesn't have the hold. He is at 380 on top there, and he's staying pretty quiet. Tamerlane, as you mentioned, is the one that they've come for. 850 into 440 has halved his quote. So that's a huge move for him. Olentia, $23 or more. So the market and the punters are finding...
Use the low draw to move up into second spot. Wild Planet deeper out. Political Debate's handy, and Converge is pretty handy as well, as Tamerlane's going to cross to the lead. In the second half of the field, Cuban Real's there on the fence on the inside of Irish Songs. My Whisper's caught deep. Further back then to the Fortune Teller from Arameo. Barbie's Fox, and Alencia is back in the field in a wide position. So Tamerlane got the front, doing it pretty easily at this point from Wild Planet. Redina well positioned third, and Converge is well positioned fourth. 1 out, 1 back. 2 lengths further back then to Cuban Real on the inside of Political Debate. Further back to Irish Songs from My Whisper. Well back is the Fortune Teller from Arameo. Barbie's Fox, and Alencia's last of all. Racing held up. Coming to the turn, Tamer Lane in front from Wild Punnet. Radina in a stalking position. A length and a half further back to Converge than Cuban Real as they come up the rise now. It's Tamer Lane being tested here by Wild Planet. Radina got tight for room, so Converge got going. Wild Planet pouring the pressure onto Tamer Lane. Radina has shoved its way out the fence to give chase, put Converge out of play, and Radina takes the lead at the 150 and has drawn clear. Radina 2 lengths in front. Cuban Real's charging home. Radina's going to win the Bill Ritchie. Cuban Real second, Wild Planet third, followed by either Tamer Lane or Converge for fourth. Further back to Arameo, Barbie's Fox, Silentia making some ground. Further back, Political Debate, The Fortune Teller and My Whisper.
Gee, that's great for Kathy O'Hara today. So she's only had the 2 rides today. She gets a big winner. Gee, J-Mac, I'm kicking myself. I didn't ask you about this horse. You knocked off Yellow Brick at his last start on this bloke.
I know that, and Yellow Brick's a star, and we can't wait for him to return. I don't think he's too far off.
Next week at Toowoomba he runs, actually,
really?
in the big race at Toowoomba, yeah.
Well, he could be an Epsom horse as well, but this horse, he's improved immensely.
But that was a great first-up performance. And Kathy O'Hara, she rode a winner last week too. She is in fine form, Bruce.
And Craig Williams, well, he's been under a bit of pressure in the limelight recently with the loss of the ride on Giga Kick. He rides the favourite, the heavily backed favourite, Mr. Brightside. Come on, Willow, you're the favourite up for the punters. He's drawn barrier 2.
Great parade from him, probably the best parade he's produced this campaign. He keeps improving every single time he steps into the mounting yard. It's the brightest and cleanest I've seen his coat.
Mission Peter Moot. Australian soil here in the Makybe Diva. Horse 2, Alligator Blood, who Blake Shins had an association with previously. It was a pickup ride for Damien Oliver on race morning, of course, in the Memsie Stakes due to the injury Tim Clark sustained on Wyong.
That's how much he's improved out of that last run. He's only been beaten here once. That's at headquarters, and that was in the final bound, wasn't it, by Thunderstruck. He's a quality galloper. Makes his own life.
Outside as he tries to become the first horse in 9 years to do the Memsie Makybe Diva double at Group 1 level and go on an honour roll that enjoys some great...
To salute at some point. Will it be Mr. Brightside? I think it will.
Between them in the yard, I've gone with Alligator Blood on top, and that just comes down to the fact that...
Away with sports bet punters, but clearly Mr. Brightside to continue his winning merry ways to go 3 from 3 this preparation. You know he loves Flemington. He's a great miler, 2-time Doncaster winner is Mr. Brightside. $1.85, 3.
Holds them momentarily, and they're racing. Mr. Brightside from barrier number 2 broke away well with also Alligator Blood. Princess Grace just moves up to their girth, and then came Ozapenko. They feel their way early here. It's tactical. Alligator Blood is going to cross and take the lead from Princess Grace. Then came Ozapenko, and Mr. Brightside is going to lob. Now third one off the fence outside of Ozapenko. They didn't go that hard early. Then Francesco Gardi, Agon is second last, and Spanish Mission last of all. 1,100 metres to go. The leader is Alligator Blood by 3/4 of a length. Princess Grace, a length and a half. Mr. Brightside third from Ozapenko. A length Francesco Gardi at the 1,000. Then came Agon and Spanish Mission. Alligator Blood's had it soft up front at the 900 metres. 3/4 of a length to Princess Grace. A length and a half to Mr. Brightside. Ozapenko racing together. A length and a half Francesco Gardi, Agon and Spanish Mission. That's the order in the Group 1 at the 700 metres. It's Alligator Blood, Damien Oliver looking to win the race for the 6th time. Princess Grace just getting a bit closer now. Mr. Brightside's a length and a half off those from Ozapenko. Francesco Gardi 3 deep, and then came Agon Spanish Mission around the turn at the 450, and it's Alligator Blood held together. Princess Grace not far away, a neck away. Mr. Brightside tanking up a length away. It's the race we wanted. 300 to go. Alligator Blood lets down now. Mr. Brightside, Williams hasn't moved. Alligator Blood joined by Mr. Brightside, who lets rip at the 150. Mr. Brightside 3/4 a length. Alligator Blood and comes clear. Mr. Brightside, a mile marvel. What a performance. Won it by a length and a half. Alligator Blood, Ozapenko, and then came Princess Grace. Next to finish in the contest was Francesco Gardi. Then came Agon and Spanish Mission.
Craig Williams wins his 74th Group 1, but perhaps more importantly, We have a winner of a Memsie and Makybe Diva in the same spring for the first time in 9 years. Dissident in 2014. Mr. Brightside, with yet another Group 1, takes his prize money north of $9 million. He has clearly gone to new levels in the spring of 2023. And the brothers Hayes continue to roll with Mr. Brightside. Alligator Blood, tough as always, holding on for second place. They jog along in the early stages. To put it in context, Humidor's race record, 1:35.35 back in 2017. They've run 2 seconds outside that. It doesn't matter what speed you go, slow or fast, Mr. Brightside's going to always be there. He gets himself a well-deserved Group 1 at headquarters. 1:26.
He said good things happen to good people, and that was outstanding. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel on top of the world. It's I've been really fortunate to be part of this horse's journey, his development, and the only reason this horse
was a different race shape in the Memsie. Again, he adapted today. You must continue to just tip your cap to his ability to be versatile, regardless of what the field throws up.
He was a superstar today. Craig just let the race unfold. We ended up in the 1-1, which we thought was a possibility, and he followed Waller's horse into the bend and travelled so strongly, and it's quite an easy look, and it's the first time I've seen him with his tongue out. So he's sticking his tongue out at them, but he won well, and he's such an exciting, and we're so proud of him. He's incredible.
And Mr. Brightside continues to build out his glittering CV. His 4th Group 1. It now sits alongside, of course, his 2 Doncasters. His last start victory in the Memsie Stakes. He's the first horse since Dissident to do that double in 9 years. And it looks like, Ben, he's going to go trotting back to the side of his 2 Doncaster wins to tackle the $5 million King Charles, the rebadged George Main Stakes in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, you can't blame them for that. So this was a race run really slowly. Alligator Blood, first 800 metres, thanks to the daily sectionals times, gone about 14 lengths slower than average. So the game plan, you can tell there, is testament to the fact that this horse just keeps coming back better. Fastest last 200 of the day, so he's just absolutely flying.
Down now, Mr. Brightside. Williams hasn't moved. Alligator Blood joined by Mr. Brightside, who lets rip at the 150. Mr. Brightside, 3/4 a length. Alligator Blood and comes clear. Mr. Brightside, a mile marvel. What a performance. Won it by a length and a half. Alligator Blood.
He's going that well. He's now poking the tongue out at them as he's going past the
Swader on the horse, and him doing his pukana at the end is what, you know, he's been a Kiwi horse. He's obviously a Māori horse. doing the Māori pukana, something I used to do and get in trouble for. Obviously he won't. But I can almost guarantee you he went home last night, that horse, at his home. It was like a trial, and even Craig Williams said after it, it's the easiest Group 1 I've ever won.
74th Group 1 yesterday for Craig Williams. I'm pretty confident that's more
been. We're obviously talking about him losing the ride on gear kick in the Everest, but the class that he showed there yesterday, unbelievable from Craig Williams, and the dedication to his craft. And I think that's what we've always seen in over decades. He's a different horse. He keeps improving and going next level. He's won nearly $10 million in prize money, and we're still wondering whether or not he's the best in the country.
Well, the jury's... Well, he's the best miler. There's no doubt about that. The jury's out a little bit at 2,000 metres, but what they were doing with him when he was beaten, by Alligator Blood last preparation over 1,400 metres, he was being ridden more conservatively, like they were at 2,000 metres, to try and get the mile. But I think what we've seen in this preparation is he's a better horse when you put him up on the speed and you give him his chance to win races and to be tough like he is. So I think he'll be a bit closer at 2,000 metres in the Cox Plate this year. Hopefully he draws a gate, and he's right in the mix.
Do you...
Something like that, Epsom, Turak, they look good targets for Osipenko.
What about Francesco Guardi making his return towards
he was a real pass mark. I don't know what you guys think about Alligator Blood. Is he going as well as ever? Maybe he's just a length off his absolute best. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't think he's beating Mr. Brightside. I think Mr. Brightside's gotten a little bit better. But Princess Grace is probably a tad disappointing. Francesco Guardi, a big tick. Osipenko, a big tick.
I think he misses Timmy Clark.
6,000, multiple bets of 5,000 as well, all on the race favourites. Simon Miller combining here with Damien Lane. See you in heaven. The South Aussie is next best, $9 into $8.50. Road to Arataki has been 10 into $9. Punters just continue to chip away here at the
Let's Elope Stakes for the mares over 1,400 metres. Horse 1, the weapon from the west, is in town, Amelia's Jewel. The concern for many who draw, leading racing statistician Nick Egan.
I think more than anything else as well, Nigel, like she's obviously a class actor, winning record says that, and the late sectionals that she can produce are simply incredible, but she is fresh.
You're keen on the South Aussie See You in Heaven, who's got a good record here at Flemington, to grab the Let's Elope.
I think at the prices, Nigel, more than anything else, I think See You in Heaven.
Me love the way she strutted around the yard. She's a horse that just looks like she knows everyone's watching her.
Just that she is that is for sure. She's a clear-cut favourite here and best back. But we are playing multiples, exotics, if you like there, folks. Your trifectas, your quinellas and your exotics with Sportsbet across all three TABs. We're giving...
As Amelia's Jewel takes the outside alley here for the Let's Elope. Set racing at the 1,400 metres. Pretty good line away too. Amelia's Jewel's about fourth last early. Wrote to Arataki straight to the lead from Sparkle and Toragine. They're about 2 lengths See You in Heaven and also Life Lessons. A couple of lengths Foxy Frida, Pride of Jenny L. Patroness. Then came Cast, Elusive Express early. Then came Papali. Amelia's Jewel has 2 behind her and they are Shuffle Dancer and also Papillon Club. So Wrote to Arataki the leader. 3/4 of a length to Toragine in second. Sparkle is third. See You in Heaven is fourth, one off the fence, and Pride of Jenny is doing it hard 3 wide. 1 1/4 Life Lessons, 2 lengths El Patroness and Foxy Frida. In that group of horses, Cast wide, and then came Elusive Express and Papali. Amelia's Jewel has the back of Cast, is about 3 back on that 3 wide train, and has about 8 lengths to pick up from Papillon Club and Shuffle Dancer. Wrote to Arataki into the running at the 450 from Pride of Jenny. Toragine wants to lug out. Life Lessons the outside. El Patroness is darting back over on the far side. Where's Amelia's Jewel? Lane hasn't pushed the button yet, and she's running on. Life Lessons at the clock tower took the front. Here's Amelia's Jewel about to let down hands and heels. Amelia's Jewel up to Life Lessons, who fights Amelia's Jewel a neck, a half Life Lessons. Too good. Too good. Amelia's Jewel, a length Life Lessons. Third in the race, El Patroness. They were followed by a photo Cast, See You in Heaven. Pride of Jenny next, and then came Papillon Club. Papali, Foxy Frida. Well back, Elusive Express, Shuffle Dancer, Wrote to Arataki, Toragine and Sparkle.
I think for most racing fans, certainly for most punters, if you were given 2 things that you could guarantee walking into Flemington today or watching the coverage wherever you are around the country, you wanted to see Mr. Brightside take another leap forward and win the Makybe Diva Stakes. That box got ticked 40 minutes ago. The other thing we wanted to see was Amelia's Jewel, who was thundered through our televisions in a different time zone. 3rd seconds. She wins the Let's Elope, and the plan is clearly laid out at this stage for Simon Miller. The stock stakes on AFL Grand Final Eve is must-see TV right now, and then after that, we wait and see. It might be the...
This is just a nice starting point for her, and when he hadn't moved on straightening, I was like, well, this is an easy watch, you know, without being arrogant. I was like, well, you know, he hasn't gone full throttle on it yet, and so I thought, well, at least we're going to be in the finish. Yeah, it's good to come home and see all my family and friends, and I'm on an early flight out tomorrow, so...
Conditions, you've ridden world-class horses all over the globe, and a lot of good mares too. What's the first sit like?
It's still a little hard to say, because I dead set felt like I was in second gear when I got to Life Lessons, and she got a half length in front and just went to put the cue in the rack. So she's still, I dare say, got more in the tank. It's just she's a really casual customer that's still got more to give.
But that innate...
She was welcoming there, and, well, this is just some sort of performance. I mean, from 14 to 14, Nick Ryan, who's racing Google, sent...
The gate, because if she is that much better than them, and you put it to Damien Lane post-race, 14's better than 1, because this horse was going to be beaten if she was locked away and didn't get a run. She wasn't going to get beaten with clear air. Yeah, she's 3rd highest rated performance of the day. First up, 1,400 metres. It worked out beautifully. Cast was able to take Damien into the race, and it was this is one. The data will tell you one thing. This is one for the eyes. Have a look at how she does it.
Amelia's Jewel. Lane hasn't pushed the button yet, and she's running on. Life Lessons at the clock tower took the front. Here's Amelia's Jewel about to let down hands and heels. Amelia's Jewel up to Life Lessons, who fights Amelia's Jewel a neck, a half Life Lessons. Too good. Too good. Amelia's Jewel, a length Life Lessons. 3rd in the race.
So nothing stunning from a margin point of view, but as you say, it's the kick-off point, the sort of anecdotal information that came through post-race interviews and chats subsequently.
Surprised you're a doubter, given the data that she was producing over there and the times that she was producing. She She is a freak, this horse, and she is the one. We can talk about Mr. Brightside and we can talk about Think It Over and Zaki, but she is the one that we can build a brand on for a spring carnival, an autumn carnival, whatever you like. She is
so much in the quag with the way she finished off, and yesterday it just confirmed all the suspicions I had out of that performance, that she is absolute first class. So
a Group 2 victory, but she's going to have pretty tough time of it, Hutch.
I mean, Star Patrol, easy to make a case for. His peak figures are great. Najeem Sahel.
In the way that he's been prepared for today's race, he looked forward in terms of his fitness, great muscle definition.
480, but Benedetta 245. I'm tipping Hutchie wouldn't be getting a double fillet if he was going through the Macca's drive-through. 245 your favourite. Best supported here by far is Benedetta, but no, nice to see Star Patrol. He tightens up a little bit off his hot trial on that little throat tie-up. And King of Sparta.
Field is set, ready, gates are back and they're away. Benedetta away smoothly. Charterhouse out well with Snapper, and Najem Sahel over on the inside is going to plot a course towards the inside running rail. On it's Pat Malone. So it's Najem Sahel on the flat side by itself, blazing a strong trail. Snapper leads the division on the outside from Star Patrol, King of Sparta, and also Charterhouse. Also behind those horses, It's Our Time, Minsk Moment and Zootori, and Startontes at the end of the field. Benedetta has about 3 behind her. 600 metres to go. Najem Sahel by itself over on the flat side, led from Snapper, Star Patrol, and their 4 lengths King of Sparta, followed by Benedetta, Charterhouse, Zootori, It's Our Time, Minsk Moment and Startontes. 350 metres to go. Najem Sahel with Star Patrol, they're worlds apart. Star Patrol hits the front, and then came Benedetta, and behind them King of Sparta. Star Patrol, 150 metres to go. King of Sparta is finishing hard. Star Patrol, King of Sparta is trying to mow it down with Benedetta. Still Star Patrol, 50 metres to go. King of Sparta is going to have a crack late with Benedetta. Photo finish, Star Patrol. Star Patrol beat King of Sparta, Benedetta. Then came a gap to Charterhouse with Zootori, Mince Moment, It's Our Time. Najem.
King of Sparta was lurking and looming late, but in the end, Clinton McDonald has got the job done with his highly talented sprinter, who's certainly given them some thrills here at times with his performances, but it just hasn't clicked for him on the big day so far in his career. He was top 6, come back a better horse for it. Great run, King of Sparta. Benedetta was flashing late, but just simply left with too much work to do.
Yeah, this was a high-pressure contest. Najeem Sahel, obviously, who was out by himself, went really quick, about 8 lengths faster than standard for the first 400 metres and fell in a hole. But have a look at where King of Sparta and Benedetta are at this stage. Star Patrol's done a stack of work in relative to those 2 horses that were in the finish with him. This was an encouraging return. So he had that throat issue in the in the autumn, which saw him perform below his best in the Newmarket. But Clinton McDonald looks to get him back. He gave a glimpse in the in the trial and the jump out that he was back, but he was there to be beaten, and he's done a terrific job to hang on and win. 2nd and 3rd were great, but I think all honours the winner. He had a fitness disadvantage over Benedetta, and he's been good enough to hang on and win. So he'll head, I assume, towards a Gill guy, and if he's not the one to beat, he'll be close to it there. And it's pretty exciting to see him back to his best. He can, I don't know, he's probably not an Everest horse, but that next level down, he's right there. And he's a 3rd were great, but I think all honours the winner. He had a fitness disadvantage over Benedetta, and he's been good enough to hang on and win. So he'll head, I assume, towards a Gill guy, and if he's not the one to beat, he'll be close to it there. And it's pretty exciting to see him back to his best. He can, I don't know, he's probably not an Everest horse, but that next level down, he's right there.
And he's a recycled horse.